The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack, this like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is Friday, September 27th, 2024, and I am your host, Scott Lewis. Of course, you know to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barbers Chat Network on all social media platforms at Barbers Chat Net. Follow our partners, H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. Subscribe to our Patreon, man, patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network, man. If you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere we can hold your phone up against the screen, scan it right there, man. This QR code we got on the screen will take you right to the Patreon link. We've got 4 different tiers. We got the 79th and Halas tier for $5. If you want to get early 79th and Halas episodes and exclusive content, subscribe there. If you want to see the Summer Sessions tier, we just want to hear me, Pavi, Merk, and Bang and just talk pretty much about whatever the fuck. Subscribe to that. We got the I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier, where you get everything from this show, as well you get the individual local hour instead of jumping all up with the show. And of course, you get all the exclusive clips. Or you subscribe to the $10 Barbershare All Access fee tier, which has everything included. And you get 25% off on your first order at the BCNet shop. As you can see here, shop with us. BCNetshop.com. Get all your I'm Not Gonna Hold You merch, 79th and Halas merch, Barbers Chat Network merch. And on Tuesday, we will be launching, or not launching, but debuting the 79th and Halas 10th anniversary merch. We got some hoodies and shirts for y'all, for all the fans who've been holding us down for 10 seasons. I can't believe we've been doing that fucking podcast for 10 seasons, man. So bcnetshop.com, look out for that, man. We've got a packed show for y'all. Mikey's not here today. Mikey is down with the flu. So we hope our brother gets better, and we'll see him here on Monday. Courtney has got some work to do, so she'll be back on Monday as well. No respect to culture. Laro's got some personal business to take care of, so he'll be back next week. But the homie Tosin from the Shirtless Plantain Show will join us in hour 2 for a full preview of week 4 in the NFL, man. But we have got a lot to talk about on this local hour. We're going to bring in Bang and Dante. How y'all brothers feeling here today?
I am good, bro. You know, tropical storm came through the A. People bought up all the water. We're being real extra, but it was solid. You know, it's a good day out here.
Man, how you feeling, brother?
I don't respect everybody being out for personal reasons and all this shit. I'm under the weather myself. I'm stressed out.
Bang said, I need PTO.
I need PTO too. You see, I'm here.
Hey, man. If you submitted the PTO, I'd have cleared it, brother. I'd have cleared it. And we all here today for a new episode, man. I'm feeling good. It's Friday. We are a couple days away from the best month of the year, which is October. And not just because it's my birthday. It's because it's the only month of the year where you get all of the sports in one. You got NFL football. You got college football. You got the NBA coming back. You got NHL coming back. And you got the MLB playoffs, which start on Tuesday. And tune in Monday because we're going to have a full hour of baseball talk. We're going to be previewing the entire MLB playoffs. And we're also going to talk about them sorry-ass White Sox who I know are going to break the record over the weekend. And I don't really bang with the fans booing, but we'll get into that Monday as well. And we're also going to talk about the Cubs too, because I know some of you Cub fan niggas out there think y'all going to go on the radar too. Now, y'all talk crazy during the offseason too, and here y'all niggas are no playoffs as well, man. But let's get into the local hour here, man. Sponsored by nobody.
It is the local hour.
There we go. A lot of stuff going on in Chicago sports. The Bears will be hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Both teams are 1-2 this Sunday on the lakefront. And yeah, man, Derrick Rose retired. Teresa Weatherspoon got fired. We got a lot to talk about in this hour, but let's start it off with the beloved, with the Chicago Bears. Big week. Big game. I feel like the fate of Chicago sports is on the line Sunday on the lakefront, man. But we got to kind of talk about what happened this week. When we went on the air on Monday Night Football had not started. We did not see the amazing performance that Jaden Daniels was going to put on that night, and that sent Bears Twitter into a hellhole. I mean, my brother talked about a little bit on 7 Night the Halas about how stupid the conversation was. I kind of went fake viral this week with the reel we put out. TikTok does not like me, by the way. TikTok niggas hate me. Like, if you look at my comments, it's ridiculous, but keep watching it because I've been getting more and more TikTok views. I think I did like damn near 10,000 this week off those two TikToks. So keep supporting me. Keep calling me a fucking idiot because it's helping me out. But if you look at all the things, all the people that people criticize about with Caleb Williams, going on saying the Bears made another mistake of who they drafted the quarterback that, they should have got Jaden Daniels and, he's not a leader. He's not that. It's something that Mikey said on the show last week that I think that all Bears fans need to brace. And that's the fact that Caleb Williams is the villain. It just is what it is. Nobody likes this nigga. And this went back to last year with the pain of the nails, crying to his mom. We even talked about that on the show. Mental health matters. And I feel like as Bears fans, we just got to accept that shit, that you got a quarterback that a lot of people just don't like for no fucking reason. And you just got to understand it and kind of just stand beside him, I guess is the way to say it. And just when this turns around, be ruthless with it because I personally will. I think this whole conversation this week, I really feel, I understand where Bears fans are coming from. We all thought that they would come off to a better start than they got right now. I don't think the 1-2 record is that much of a shocker. I think it's the way that the offense has been playing, the way that the team has been playing is why everybody is very, very close to losing it if they lose this game this week. So I get that. I just don't get the going off the deep end and saying that we should have did this, we should have did that as far as who they should have drafted because it's 3 games. And if you actually watch these games, I know a lot of people don't, Jaden Daniels wasn't nothing special in the first 2 games. Jaden Daniels had a great game on Monday, no doubt. And I'm not taking nothing from him, but I also feel that Bengals defensive line and Bengals defense is trash. There's a reason they're 0-3. So he was able to have more of a cleaner pocket than he usually had. That offensive line isn't that much better than the Bears' offensive line. A lot of people going off saying, we should have hired Cliff Kingsbury. I remember when Cliff Kingsbury was in the building in Halas Hall this past winter, and a lot of fans were like, we don't want him. Keep him away. See what he did in Arizona. We heard that many, many times. So it's like, let's not have buyer's remorse 3 weeks in. And that's not saying that Cliff Kingsbury won't end up better than Shane Waldron. That's not saying that Jaden Daniels won't eventually be better than Caleb Williams. I don't know. It's 3 games into it. It's way too early for all that. And here's the thing that's kind of like the cherry on top, just shows you how Bears fans are, is let's just say the Bears would have drafted Jaden Daniels and let Caleb go on to Washington. And Caleb would have had that game that Jaden had on Monday against Cincinnati. What did the talk on Bears Twitter would have been? The Bears passed up another generational talent, like when they drafted Mr. Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. You can't really satisfy these people, man. And I understand the emotion, and I understand that Bears fans have been traumatized. But in the words of a nigga that we all hate, Aaron Rodgers, relax. I'm not saying relax about the team. I can't promise you that the team is going to get better. But I feel real good about this kid. For the first time in my life as a Bears fan and as a member of Bears media, when I look at the offensive struggles, my main concern is not the quarterback. I actually think he might be good enough to actually get through the bullshit he's in, even though you don't want to be in that bullshit to begin with. I'm going to bring in Bang and Dante for this, man. Bang, I'm going to start with you, bro. What do you think about the discourse this week? And do you think that we just need to embrace the fact that Caleb is probably just a villain?
I think Caleb is a villain, but I don't think he's a villain within the Bears, within Bears Twitter, Bears fans. I think that's more of Bears trauma as you've said on many occasions, we finally got the new shiny toy, and we're afraid that we brought that toy home and it's broke, and we can't return it. And that's how I think some people feel about this Caleb Williams situation. I don't think it's warranted, but that's what happens when you go years without having a potential star quarterback, right? I think that's the issue here. So it's not that he's a villain. He might be a villain outside, but he's not a villain within the organ, or like within Bears fans. I think they're just more like, man, we finally got something, and man, I pray that it's Huff. It's almost like you finally bagging the girl, and you just hope that everything that night is gonna be like how you want it to, and you scared you're gonna finally get that shot, and that shot gonna be Huff. That's how the fans feel right now.
And what I mean by villain is not Bears fan. I don't think he's a villain of Bears fan. I mean like to the national media and national fans in general.
Okay. Now, to answer that part of it, anytime you're the number one pick, you're going to be a villain in some sort of way. And it don't help that the Bears organization is what it is. They're going to pick at you. They're going to nitpick. They're going to do all of those things. Nick Saban, when he was talking to Flus, pretty much like, yo, all of these expectations. So I think he's dealing with a whole bunch of expectations. Plus, he was the USC kid who transferred from Oklahoma. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's did everything. So, of course, everybody is going to nitpick. So, he's a number one pick. All of this comes with the territory. They did it with every number one pick that I can remember in my lifetime. They tore them down. And the ones that came back up, they praise them. There's a reason why there's Omaha Productions. And that's because when Peyton Manning was look at Peyton Manning. Matter of fact, just think about it like this. Peyton Manning could have came out the year before. The Jets would have drafted him. He knew it. I'm staying at Tennessee one more year. He goes to the Colts. He huffs it up the first year. And people are like, oh, is he really who they say he is? And they loved him ever since. So I ain't worried.
Dante, what's your take on this week's discourse?
I don't think villain is really the right way to phrase it or frame it. He just as Bang just said, he's simply the number one pick. This is what comes with that. I think with us being in Chicago and being so quarterback hungry, it's a situation where we have, extremely high expectations, and seeing the guy picked right after him succeed early while he struggled, and it's been the same struggles we've seen with, poor offensive line play. We feel like the routes don't make sense in the offense, and all of those things happening. So now it's just like, oh fuck, here we go again. But no, I don't think villain is the way to portray it. I think a lot of people usually root against the number one pick. Like is always going to say, well, we expect you to come out and just light shit up, and because we've had it happen more frequently in now as opposed to the past, those expectations have risen even more. So with a guy like Caleb, who's a Heisman Trophy winner, who's had all the expectations since he was in high school, of course, people are seeing him, have mixed results in the early stages, and they're like, oh, see, here we go. And so I don't think he's a villain, but it's just those are the expectations of a number one pick in today's game. It's like, we set this team up for you. We obviously, as Bear fans, we go more in depth, and there really are certain things they didn't address that they should have addressed. But we set this team up for you to the point where the national media was saying no rookie quarterback has ever come into a better situation. So now, based off what the precedent they set, they're sitting there saying, well, what the fuck is going on? Now, Keenan Allen's been hurt and other things, but at the end of the day, they expect Caleb and his supreme talent to overcome all of that. So I don't think he's a villain, but I think, you're just really seeing what happens with a number one pick. And, we've never had that in this city. Like we drafted Rex Grossman, K. McNown, guys like that, and, later in the first round, but we've never had that scrutiny of a number one guy. Even with Justin, he was the 11th pick, and we traded up for that.
Yeah.
But we never had a guy that was, expected to come in day one and be a guy. So even with Justin, they expected him to, have some growing pains and things that he needs to develop. So that's all you're just seeing is people saying, okay, you were advertised as a complete package. What's going on?
Yeah, I think too, I do think it's a mix of that. But even before the number one draft thing, I just think that people don't like Caleb because he's kind of like the first Gen Z quarterback, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like he moves a different way. He's wired a different way. You know, the nigga paints his nail. A lot of people don't like that. You know, a lot of people don't like when he shows his emotions and things like that. And I think a lot of people, like you just said too, they want to see number one picks fail, but also I think a lot of people just like laughing at the Bears. And this is why I always bring back my comparison of the Bears being the football Knicks. A lot of people just love like laughing at the Knicks to the point where logic goes out the window when it comes to Knicks because it's like, fuck the Knicks. They're the Knicks. They should always lose. I think it's the same way with the Bears. I think people just outside of Bears fans and outside of reason, people just want the Bears to continue to lose. And I think for the average fan, it'll be nothing funnier than the Bears to get the number one draft pick and the guy who's been hailed as the guy since fucking high school to fall flat on his face. So I think that's part of it as well. But I do think that if and when this does turn around, I think there'll be a little bit of change. For right now, and this is just me too, not just the fans. We just got to stop reacting to shit because I found myself reacting to a lot this week. I cussed a lot of money. I actually challenged a nigga to a fight on Instagram. I'm on Twitter this week. So that just tells you that I need to stay off that damn app. I told nigga I'll beat his ass. I forgot what the fuck.
Do we have to have another conversation?
Hey man, we can have all conversations we want. And like at the end of the day, I have to just put the phone down, which I did not do that on Monday. I was very annoyed this past week, but we got through it, man. But let's talk about this players only meeting that happened yesterday, which is always a concern. I always feel players only meetings never end well, especially this early in the season. Now, I did think that the offense would take a while to get to where it's at. I definitely didn't think it would take this long. And, you know, we hear about a leadership group, which went back to Nagy days in my head, like leadership group, that Matt Eberflus was talking about on Tuesday. Not Tuesday, but Wednesday when I was up there. By the way, I don't understand why they be having Matt Eberflus be virtual on Mondays now, but I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, I feel like we're getting to the point where a lot of these Flus press conference days are getting real coach speaky more than usual. And I think that's something you need to pay attention to as the season goes on. But he said he sat down with Shane Waldron on Monday morning. They went over film and things like that. And it's like, bro, we shouldn't be doing this early. If you got an offensive coordinator, you got to sit down and look at film and 3 days in, it's a problem. But what stood out to me is if you go to what Mercedes Lewis said yesterday, told the media who was there that they were part of the leadership group. And basically, they were telling, in so many words, telling Shane Waldron to coach them harder. Now, the people that were there, I think, were Mercedes Lewis, it was Caleb Williams, I think it was DJ Moore, and a couple others. And he's like, yo, we got guys on this team. Like, we don't want to hear about, we got rookie quarterback and, things moving slow. He said, no, that's not what it was when the season started. We have expectations. And we need to stay on top of those expectations and actually go out there and win games. So we've got dudes who can go out there and execute, and we need to do that. So he said, why people treat about leadership group meeting? Well, to answer the question, I don't think we should be having leadership group meetings in week fucking 4. I think if you're having leadership group meetings this early in the season, that means that you might have hired the wrong nigga. That's something that goes on later on in the season, in my personal opinion. Anytime I hear about any type of players meeting with the coaches and things like that, my alarm goes off, especially when it comes to this fucking franchise. And so that's why I don't have a good feeling about this week. We'll get into our picks later on in this hour. But that kind of stuff kind of rings an alarm to me where I'm like, we already know how we all feel about Flus. I think it's one thing that all Bears fans can agree on, that even remember how we had the full Caleb and Justin Civil War this offseason? One thing that all the fan base agreed on is that Matt Eberflus should have been fired. If you're going to start over for real. That just didn't make any sense to me. And then you got Shane Waldron, who, by the way, this was said on Waddle and Silver. And shout out to Mikey. Even though Mikey was sick, he gave me the quotes of what Jorge Sedano from ESPN LA said on Waddle and Sylvie today. This we told Sylvie. He said that, he felt like Dave Canellis, who was the quarterback coach in Seattle, was the reason that Seattle's offense was good, not Shane Waldron. This is the direct quote from Jorge Sedano. He said, I get that Waldron went to Seattle after leaving McVay, and everyone who had McVay dust did well. When you look at it, when Canellis was there with Waldron, the year Geno had the big years, Canellis was there as QB coach. Numbers never matched once Canellis left, and it was just on Waldron. Their offense went from 12th to 20th once Canales left. It was all left on Waldron, and he had the 20th ranked passing offense in the league. I don't believe they have the right infrastructure to make him successful. O-line stinks. Flus is defensive-minded head coach, and Waldron stinks. I don't think they have the right person to aid Caleb going forward. Now, that's just part of many national media's takes on this. We saw Greeny from ESPN just completely lost it on Get Up yesterday, and he had a full, very passionate rant about them potentially ruining Caleb Williams. There's a question that I got that I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna answer on pass. Y'all, when are we gonna start looking at Ryan Poles? Because the stats that I just named that Jorge Sedano knew, if either Ryan Poles knew about it and he didn't give a shit, or he didn't know about it. Either way, that's a problem. And now we just start looking at some of these moves that he's making, because all of this should be focused on making Caleb the best possible situation. And look, sometimes you just know. You knew when the Broncos hired, who's the Jets offensive coordinator now, who his name is escaping me, in New York. He was Aaron Rodgers' boy. But
about Hackett?
Yeah, Hackett. We all knew Nathaniel Hackett wasn't going to work very early with Denver. And I don't think we need the full 17-game picture. I think they made the wrong hire. And this is not something I'm looking at where I proved it when they hired, because, you always want to give somebody a shot. And I also feel like great offensive coordinators or really good offensive coordinators aren't interviewing for offensive coordinator jobs. They're interviewing for head coaching jobs. But I'm starting to maybe a little bit question Ryan Poles' decision-making if the offense continues to go this way. Bang, what do you feel about these leadership meetings, the Waldron hire, just everything that's going on? I feel like there's going to be some hard conversations that's going to have to be having Halas Hall very soon if this continues to go this way.
I'm not mad at leadership meetings early. I think it's overrated I won't use overrated. I think it's overblown for us to be talking about, oh man, they having the leadership meeting and boom, boom, boom. But I also work in leadership. So I tell my team to reach out to me whenever anything is going on. So a leadership meeting could happen when things are going good and you want to keep it going. A leadership meeting could happen even though this is going on. The leadership thing could happen at any time and at any moment, and you rather them happen now actually than you do later, because it's easier for you to clean up some of the issues now than later in the season. If you're going to do it, you do it now. With the Waldron thing, hey, look, man, sometimes niggas interview very well. Like, at the end of the day, you can...
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, sometimes you just interview very well, and you have all of the great ideas, and all you just need is another opportunity, and you get there, and then you start to see that the interview may have been flawed. I wanted, and y'all heard me on this show, I wanted, when they said they was interviewing Cliff Kingsbury, I was like, oh, shit. And when they said they was interviewing Clint Kubiak, I was like, oh, okay, I like it because I know what style of plays come from. I know who his daddy is. Like, I wish his daddy was the coach of the Bears at one point. So we'll see what will happen this Rams game. I think this Rams game is going to be more Eberflus versus McVay anyway. And I still have my thoughts around the LA Rams.
And that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, that scares the shit out of me, yeah. And I also have my thoughts around the LA Rams coming to Chicago on the 12 o'clock game. That matters. But I will say this. With all that I just said, when a player comes out and say the things that Mercedes Lewis said that went on in the meeting, that's what gives me concern. It's not that they had the meeting. It's what was discussed. And I believe that in any leadership meeting, what y'all talk about needs to stay in house. The fact that Mercedes Lewis, the OG, not only in the team, but of the league, comes out and says that we need to be coached harder, we need to be this, that's when it becomes an issue. Not that you had a meeting, but what came out of the meeting, and that y'all are speaking about what happened in the meeting. That lets the Rams know that y'all fooled. So that's what I don't like. Leadership meetings, keep that in-house. Now that it's out the house, Now it gives us more shit to talk about, and that does not help the situation.
And before we go to Dante, Mercedes Lewis brought this up twice because he also has a new podcast with Cap.
Oh, niggas be podding. That's what it is.
Well,
And with Cap,
that's the thing, though.
wait a minute. You say he has a podcast with Cap?
Yeah, so Cap has
Oh shit.
Cap launched 2 podcasts on his network. So Big Dog has a pod and Kevin Byer has a pod. And yeah, I think that's it. And so they be on Cap shit like once a week.
Cap Cowherd, man. That's what you think. Cap Cowherd.
Yeah, so another thing that I kind of got a problem with current players having podcasts. Like, you know, we'll get into the Cowboys Giants game later, but we know that Micah gonna be out for 2 to 4 weeks, maybe longer. But you know this nigga's not gonna stop podding. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least with Draymond, at least Draymond got 4 titles already, so it's kind of like, okay, I'll give you that pass on that. I don't want to see Andrew Reed's podcast, nigga. You a rookie. Like, that's just how I feel. That's a whole nother different rant. But Dante, tell me what you feel about these leadership meetings, and do you think already there's time to look at Ryan Pohl's decision making?
I don't mind the leadership meetings. I actually encourage the leadership meetings, especially when you have an outcome like they had, where you have a veteran like Mercedes Lewis. So I'm sure that was intentional, where he was the one who came out and said, nah, coach is harder. Like, you know, these are grown men in this building. And so, you know, I'm more concerned. And I think to me, that points to them walking on eggshells with Caleb and saying, okay, we've heard the diva thing and we want to make sure he's comfortable. And so, you know, we're going to sit here and play patty cake with this shit, as opposed to, you know, doing what football coaches do. And that's, you know, iron sharpens iron, making sure their team is ready every Sunday. You know, there's been plenty of plays where they just don't look prepared. I like what I heard on Pat McAfee when Adam Schefter said that Shane Waldron put up all the plays that he acknowledged he fucked up. And, you know, he said that was his wrong, whether it was the alignment or just the wrong play call at the wrong time, you know, going through that for the whole game. I think that was dope. And that's something that you want to see, just a coach hold himself accountable. And as far as Ryan Poles, the offensive line has been an issue. And, you know, as a former offensive lineman, I don't know if that's just his blind spot, where he's going more so for the diamonds in the rough as opposed to investing what he truly needs to invest in that. But you're at a position where now you've reset that clock. So it's the time more than ever to blow a bag on several offensive linemen at this point to protect your key asset. So, I mean, I know that's easier said than done because, you know, people lock up the best offensive linemen. So you got to go through the draft. But I've praised too much of his decision making to sit here and I'll suddenly be like, well, he's bad at this shit. No, he has his flaws. I think we may have given him a little too much praise too soon. But in terms of, you know, questioning his decision making outside of the Nate Davis deal, I feel like now we can officially say Nate and Chase Claypool are the 2 misses, you know, in the Ryan Poles era that we can officially like mark down. Like, yeah,
don't forget about homeboy Ogunjobi.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, we can put that one. And you know, and if Vilas fucks up again, I'm gonna put Vilas on that list. But
and I'm not saying general managers can't have misses, but I feel like the coaching thing was such an obvious thing to change.
Yeah, because even though you weren't here, you've seen this city perpetuate this cycle where you have a lame duck coach with a new quarterback. Like, the last thing you should have did, if there was ever a time for him to stand up and say, Mr. McCaskey, I understand y'all don't like firing people, but listen to me. Like, if we're gonna wipe it clean, let's wipe it clean and get an offensive mind in here to really mold this kid. So I mean, we're gonna have to live with it for right now. But the more, even, you know, if they do, you know, they would have to really turn it fully around and go back to the 12-win prediction for me. But it's looking more and more like Caleb will have another coach within his first, you know, 2-3 years in the league. Like, I don't see.
And that's just annoying to me because it was avoidable. It was avoidable from the beginning. And that's just that's something I just can't get over. Like, it ain't even the Shane Waldron thing that annoys me. It's the Matt Eberflus thing that annoys me. It was so obvious, bro. Like, they're gonna start over. Like, it just don't matter. Like, if you're starting over on anything, get rid of everything. And I said a year ago, I reported it. Adam Johns reported it. People went in my head when I said this last year. I said, this nigga Fluke's not going nowhere. They believe in Buddy. I didn't say he should have came back. I was telling niggas what it was. And it just, the Harbaugh thing was never going to happen. It just was never going to, outside the fact that Kevin Warren hates this nigga's guts. The Bears are never giving a coach the power and the money that a guy like Jim Harbaugh wants, despite the fact that he's the prodigal son and everybody in the franchise loves him. It just was never going to happen. But I just don't understand deciding to, okay, we're going to rebuild the house, right? We gonna knock this house down. We gonna keep the shady foundation at the bottom, and we're gonna try to build this joint on top of that. It just don't make no sense. So to me, that's what was more annoying, even more than the Shane Waldron hiring. You know what I'm saying? Because even people want to say, "Oh, they should have got Clint Kubiak." Clint Kubiak never called plays for this year, and honestly, it's too early to say if Clint Kubiak's good. Week 3, he did not look good as he looked week 1 and week 2. So I'm not as mad with the Shane Waldron hiring as I am with the bringing Eberflus back thing. And that leads to my next question. This Sunday is a massive game. It's a massive game because I believe there's a huge difference between 2-2 and 1-3. 2-2, you feel good. Okay, we got the first quarter, 500. We still got 3 winnable games in a row coming up after this. Panthers, the Jaguars, and the Commanders. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, maybe even 4. I don't think Arizona's great. You know what I'm saying? You're in a good position. But if you're 1-3, this is going to be an extremely long 13 weeks. Now you're going to have to make some very, very hard decisions in Halas Hall because you got to switch some stuff up. Bears don't fire coaches midseason, and honestly, to be real, I don't think firing midseason will help anyway because you're going to replace Flus with. You know, you're not going to replace with Shane Waldron because there's already questions about Waldron. If you replace him with Eric Washington is already a defensive-minded coach, and then you got to find your new defensive coordinator. So, like, to me, there's just too many different holes to fill up if they did that. I could see things like Chris Morgan getting fired, offensive line coach, run game coordinator. I could see maybe Shane Waldron getting his duties taken. I can see stuff like that, but I don't see them getting fired. But I've already taken away my 10-win prediction because they'd have to win 9 of the next 14. And unless this offense just wakes up and becomes really, really good, I just don't see that because we're struggling through the easy part of the schedule. Once, we get around Thanksgiving and you got to play the Packers, I think it's November 17th or something like that, November 13th, that's when it gets hard. And that's the problem I have. And me too is just looking like, can Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze get through this crap without picking up too many bad tendencies? That's kind of where I fixed it. But they can go out there and win on Sunday. And I'm not talking about a win where the defense holds it down and the offense only scored 14 points. Because I still feel a little bad about that. If I get a win with the offense showing some signs of life, then I feel good. If not, it's going to be a very, very long 13 weeks. And also say, like I tweeted last night, that the fate of Chicago sports on the line. I was joking, but I was also dead serious. We know the mess that's going on with Chicago Scout. We'll talk about that in about 15 minutes. The White Sox getting ready to set the worst record of all time. Cubs missed the playoffs again. The Bulls going to be terrible again, and the Blackhawks another rebuild year. If this Bears season goes down the toilet, what do Chicago sports fans have? And that's what I'm worried about. And I do not feel good about this game. Bang, how much do you think is on the line this upcoming Sunday?
That's a loaded ass question. Damn it. This is a must game. Let me first say this is a must win game. Because this is a tiebreaker game too. This is a game where you lose to the Rams later on in the season. This has tiebreaker ramifications to it. So yes, this is a must win game. If they lose this game, I told we had this conversation in the group chat where we was talking about DEFCON, right? What DEFCON is this? And I think that the Bears currently right now sit at DEFCON 2 because now you're having leadership meetings and the leadership meeting information is coming out. You have Shane Waldron saying, you know what, this is why I fucked up, man, my bad. You have all of those things, right? They lose to the Rams. We're at DEFCON 3. But then you can make up some of that with some of the games that they got coming up, especially the Panthers game. I'm more worried about the Bears losing to the Commanders. Because if they lose to the Commanders and Caleb shits the bed, oh my God, it's going to be a nuclear holocaust in Chicago sports. I think that
this past week gonna look like play.
Yes. I think that week that we play them, we lose that, that's when it's like, oh shit. we literally got to go find a bomb shelter. Here's why I'm tempering my thoughts though, because I know people are trying to use some of the stuff to kill Caleb, but I'm listening to the people that I know that know quarterbacks, and they saying that the coaching is the issue, and the fact of the matter is that man Caleb Williams is shining with bad coaching. It makes me think of the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Mora, all of that, playoffs, all of that stuff, he goes away. Tony Dungy comes in, he takes over, and we see where we got to. So even if there is a coaching change, I might have given Ryan Post a little bit of grace here, because they gave him a choice of 3 people to be the head coach. Let's see, or we might want to see what happens when he goes out and he says, I'm about to look for my guy. And you know what? That may be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I think my only concern about that is Caleb having to start over again, but you're right about that. Jim Moore does look like Bill Walsh compared to Bush. 100%. Dante, what you think about what's on the line this Sunday? Am I putting too much on it, or you with me?
I think you put too much on it just off the strength that people panic all the time about nothing. So, I mean, I know 1-3 is not something we ideally want to have going forward with everybody with our high win total predictions. But at the end of the day, it's the NFL. Teams get hot. Anything really can happen. I know we're used to expecting the worst. But, I mean, I wouldn't panic too much, depending on how the game looks. Now, if he goes out there and looks like shit, then it's like, all right, bro, what is this coaching staff doing? Because one thing we do know is we saw the quote, the Kevin O'Connell said it about, young quarterbacks don't ruin coaches ruin young quarterbacks or something like that.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell said organizations ruin young quarterbacks more than young quarterbacks ruin organizations.
Exactly. And like, if any franchise knows that it's us, and although we've said, we haven't ever truly invested heavily in the position, we've still done a poor job of developing talent at the quarterback position. So I don't expect Caleb to look bad. It's because that Rams defense ain't that good. So I think it's one of those things where I wouldn't panic, but I already know that the national media and our fan base is gonna panic. Like, you can book it right now. It's gonna happen.
I just want to clarify, I'm not worried about Caleb. I'm worried about how the overall offense looks and how the team looks. For the first time ever, I have no worries about the quarterback. I think he's good enough to actually shine through the crap coaching. I'm worried about the offense looking as bad as it's look. That's where I'm kind of, and honestly, with the fan base the way it is, 1-3, I won't be on Twitter Monday and Tuesday. Let's just say that if they lose on Sunday, man. I'm going to quickly go over some, kind of like the personnel a little bit. So Keenan Allen will be back this week. Thank God. Keenan Allen will be back. He said he feels much better than he did before the Titans game. He said that the heel injury was something he tweaked during the Bengals practice. Would make sense because there was a lot of fucking rain out there during that practice, during the camp. And that he feels much better. He'll be playing. There was some scares about Darnell Wright. There was some scares about Darrell Taylor. But all of them will be playing. The offensive line will be playing. Matt Pryor will once again starting. No Dave Davis playing again. And the concerns this week will be Andrew Billings and Kevin Byard. But Josh Schrock spoke to Andrew Billings, and Billings said he plans on playing this Sunday. He doesn't think he's going to be on a snap count. So that's great to hear. I think there's a legitimate chance that Kevin Byard doesn't play. But honestly, I think they can get away with Kevin Byard not playing for about a game. I think if he does have to miss, they'll be fine. If they miss Billings, that'd be a problem. But for me, man, I think the thing we're hearing is, Roschon Johnson. You're going to get a lot more Roschon Johnson this week. And that just goes back to the terrible play calling last week. Like, Roschon Johnson obviously didn't have a lot of rushing yards, but he was most successful out the 3. And why they didn't put him on the goal line? And then, Shane Waldron saying Khalil Herbert's our goal line back. It didn't make any sense to me. But I think you're going to see a lot more Roschon, and I think you're going to see more of a quote-unquote balanced attack, even though they did run the football 28 times last week. I think more Roschon will be better. But, I feel that having Keenan Allen out there will help Caleb a lot more. I just want to see less and less DeAndre Carter. You know what I'm saying? And I think that they have to get stuff going this week, but I think Kenny will help a lot with that. Bane, what do you think about Keenan Allen coming back and, will Roshan Johnson get more carries?
It makes me feel a lot comfortable that the best safety blanket that you have on the team is going to be back, the OG, the vet. So I'm happy about that. I think it's going to help out the wide receiver room a lot more. It's going to help the running backs out too, because now you got to, again, worry about 4 people. And I mean, what I mean by that, I mean you have to worry about Allen, you have to worry about DJ Moore, you have to worry about Rome Odunze, you got to worry about Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet got a lot of opportunities to touch the ball this past weekend, and Rome too. So now you can split that up as well. So I am cool with all of that. And then with Roshan, I think it is time for him to get a lot more of the lion's share of the carries. Nothing against DeAndre Swift, but you just paid a lot of money for a change of pace back. You need Ro to bruise the people and then change that pace up. You get down to the red zone. Yeah, you use Khalil Herbert and Roshan. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to have him on the team. I'm having back.
Dante, what you think having Keenan Allen back and more Roshan to do for the offense?
I'm excited for that because I really think Caleb is comfortable with Keenan, and I think also just at the end of the day, having a talent like Keenan Allen on the field changes what the opposing defense has to do, as opposed to Buddy, number 11, who was his replacement. No disrespect to him, because I think he's a really good return man. But having him running the routes that Keenan was running, I don't think that was a recipe for success. And we saw a mixed bag with that. So I'm interested to see how the offense looks with Keenan and that extra threat out there. As far as Roshan, I was a big Roshan fan, but at the same time, it's like, when the coaches aren't playing you, they see you more than everybody else. And like, although we question Waldron's packages, player packages, and decision making, maybe there's a reason he hasn't been playing. So hopefully he'll show us something this week, because we talked about the talent, and obviously people always hype shit during the draft, but everybody was saying, Bijan's backup is just as nice, and he's going to be a good pro as well. So that would be interesting, something to see, because that would be another low cost back. And we gave DeAndre Swift a lot of fucking money, but if he can be successful, I'm all for whatever makes the offense move the best. So if that means putting Roshan in there, and we move forward, that's what it is. So I think that'll be good. But I think Keenan especially will be good for Caleb, because like we said, they didn't build this offense. They didn't draft Caleb to run the ball. They just didn't. So I'd rather have as many weapons out there as possible and have his 3 best receivers. Even though Rome is questionable, right?
Rome is questionable. He's going to play, though. He practiced in full today. He's going to
play. He practiced in full. Well, yeah, so having all of his weapons available to them, I think I really want to see how Waldron can scheme that up.
Yeah, I'll say this about DeAndre Swift before we go to our game picks, man. I think that, some of the problems can be attributed to the offensive line, but I think a lot of that shit is his fault. Like, he be running right into the offensive lineman. And there's been a lot of screen passes that the niggas dropped. I'd count about 4 or 5 of them if you look at the first 3 games. So he has to be a lot better. But I think obviously the Bears don't have the offensive line the Detroit Lions have. So I'm not trying to make this direct correlation. But I think they should use Roshan and DeAndre Swift the way that the Lions use Jahmyr Gibbs and the way they use Demo. I think that'll help a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's the way it should be used to get the offense better, and use Khalil Herbert more too. Like, you got 3 good backs. Just be smarter about it and pick the way you want to use them. Like, to sit up here and say, "Oh, we got a designated red zone running back" is stupid. Like, it just don't make no sense. Whoever you think is better at the line, so and a lot of running backs, I forgot what coach that said this, but you just can't throw them out there for random play and think this is going to be good. They need to be in the flow of the offense. So I really hope that the plays that Shane Waldron put on the board, and the players like, nah, that ain't. I hope all that got figured out, man. So let's go to our game picks. The Bears are a 2.5 point favorite at home, because they are at home, and Bang, like you said, the 12 p.m. factor, Central Time factor for West Coast teams. And also the Rams are also a 1-2 team. So they are the favorite in this game. I'm not going to lie, folks. I don't feel good. I've had a bad feeling about this game all week. Now I want to be very clear. My feelings don't mean nothing because I've had good feelings before and them niggas lose. So I don't think my feeling has anything to use. I mean to do with it. I think that my feeling is just my feeling. But I think that this week I just can't in good faith pick the Bears with the way the offense looks, the way it's been looking. I have to see it before I pick it. And I think that this Rams team, they're not going to be a show. Like, I don't think they're going to go crazy. First of all, they ain't going crazy offensively on any team. And we just know this Bears defense is a really, really good unit. I don't care how good the second era of Matthew Stafford is. When he plays the Bears, he's still Matthew Stafford. He's going to throw us one. He might throw us two. So I think there's going to be plays be made, but I just feel the Rams will make one more play than they will. And I got the Bears. I got the Rams winning 21-14. That's my favorite. That's my final score. And I don't think it'll be a fun couple days on Bears Twitter. But like I said, my feeling don't mean anything because I had a good feeling last week and they lost. So that doesn't mean anything. But I got the Bears losing this week. Bang, what's your pick? How you got this Sunday going?
Oh, man, I feel a lot differently. I think this is going to be a wake-up game. Not only do I believe this is going to be a wake-up game, I think this is going to be a game that really kind of allows us to breathe. Because it's a big win, because it's a tiebreaker win, and it's a win against Sean McVay. So I have the Bears winning 21-17, and this starts a little bit of a mini streak for us.
Dante, shoot, what you got?
I got, man, I picked them every week. Obviously, it's foolish of me, but I'm gonna go 17-14. Like, I hate to say it, but I think it looks better. But
Bears or Rams?
Bears. I think it looks better, but I don't think the Bears put that many points on the board. I just don't. I'm going back to how we've been for years. They got to show me. Until they show me, then I just don't believe it. So I'm gonna go 17-14 Bears.
There we have it, man. That concludes our Bears coverage. But for the first time in weeks, we've got more local hour content that don't involve the Bears, man. Let's talk about the legend himself, Mr. Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose announced his retirement on Instagram 2 days ago. I kind of knew this was going to happen when he put up a video on his Instagram. And the reason I say that, Pooh don't really use social media like that. So, matter of fact, I didn't know he had an Instagram. Like, when he posted that, I was like, oh, shit, Derrick Rose got an IG? I went to follow him. I didn't think he had an IG. So that was news to me. And putting all that together, I kind of knew that he was retiring. He announced his retirement yesterday, 16 years. We talked about this a little bit on Summer Sessions yesterday. It ended up being a very, very hilarious conversation. So you check that out right now on Patreon. Summer Sessions, episode 189. What we call the episode? Niggas who been in classroom all day, some shit like that.
Niggas who be one day in class, one classroom
all day type niggas. Yeah, yeah. Check that out right there. But Derrick Rose, man, this is weird, not weird, but kind of like surreal for me for a couple reasons. One, Derrick Rose is he's in my top 5 favorite players. He's probably like 4. I talked about this on Summer Sessions. Bang shit on me because he said I had too many all-time greats in my top 5.
Too many all-time greats in his top 5, man.
I had too many all-time greats.
You gotta have players that wasn't necessarily
underrated niggas.
Yeah, you gotta have the underrated niggas. You can't have
Pappy laughed at my list, and then Pappy went on to name 4 league MVPs and 2 niggas who were considered the GOAT in his, so that didn't have no merit. At least Bang had some underground kings on his list. But my top 5 favorite is really honestly a top 6 because my 1A is Mike. Mike represents my childhood. My 1B is Kobe. That's my high school years, college years. And then number 3 will be Steph Curry. Number 4, Derrick Rose. And then number 5 is my man who just got announced he's getting his jersey retired, Mr. Vince Carter. I was a huge Vince Carter fan. So, but also Derrick is my age. I first time I met Derrick was when we were both in high school together. He was a Simeon. The big Simeon big 3 was Derrick Rose, Tim Flowers, Kevin Johnson. I went to grammar school with Kevin Johnson. He lived on the same block as me. The first time I met Derrick was like our freshman year. He was a Simeon, I was a Curie. I didn't know obviously what he would become. That was the first time I met him, and just seeing his whole run. I was at the UIC Pavilion our senior year when they played Oak Hill. I remember Dickie V calling the game, and everybody just oh, we finna be on ESPN, nigga. It was a fun time to be a high school student to see all of that, to see him become.
Was that the last? Let me interrupt. Just asking this question.
Yeah.
Was that the last great high school basketball time?
I think so.
I've even though I'm old, I pay attention to all sports. I haven't really seen high school basketball be at a fever pitch since then in Chicago.
Yeah, it was LeBron, then it was Pooh. Like, if we just talking about all together, it kind of feels like. I feel like everything else is like college based. But just to see him get to that point, last time I saw him was 2 years ago. We had the same flight. And that's the funniest thing about that flight. I was leaving LA to come back home, and it was me on the flight. It was Spice Adams on a flight and Derrick Rose on a flight. And all I could think, this just tells you kind of nigga I am. I was like, if this plane goes down, all it's gonna say in the headlines is Spice Adams, Derrick Rose, and others die. I was like, nigga, I'm finna be in the others. That one went through my head. Don't ask why that went through my head, but that's what went through my head when we was on that plane. And that was the second time I ran into him. I briefly talked to him when we were waiting for our bags. But to see him make it, and then also we see a nigga that's your age retire, it's kind of weird. But just see everything is, and just see the outpouring of love he's gotten. Of course, in Chicago, he's barbershop status in Chicago. If you're not from Chicago and you don't know who barbershop status is, there's a couple niggas who's barbershop status. It's Michael Jordan, it's Harold Washington, it's Barack Obama, it's Walter Payton, and it's Derrick Rose. Now, those are the barbershop status niggas who you got in there. Derrick's in there. And to see everything accomplished, even though his prime was so short, it's really only 3 years. Being the youngest league MVP, being rookie of the year, taking the Bulls to the Eastern Conference Finals, somewhere they hadn't been without Jordan, somewhere they ain't been since. And just to see how live he had the city, when he tore his ACL, that was the second worst moment of my sports fandom. Number one, obviously, when the Bears lost the Super Bowl, but that was number two. Even though the Bulls actually won that game, that was a sick moment. Honestly, my super NBA fandom. I used to be a bigger NBA fan than I was NFL fan. My super NBA fandom died that day, but just to see how he was able to kind of get it back on, and seeing kind of the second life he had that 1 year with the Knicks, scoring 50 points with the Timberwolves, and now he's able to do whatever he wants to do. And he is ridiculously rich. Derrick is one of the most paid niggas in NBA history. You got to give up to him too. It just was good to see his love, and I hope the Bulls actually do something right and retire his number one jersey, because you want to be real about it. And this is no disrespect to Jerry Sloan. This is no disrespect to Bob Love. This is not no disrespect to anybody else who got that jersey up there, United Center Raptors. When we talk about the three most important players, we're not including Phil Jackson. It's Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and it's Derrick Rose. Those are the three most important Bulls in the history. And I see a lot of people in the media, a lot of fans on that side. You know what side I'm talking about, saying he shouldn't get his jersey retired. Hall of Fame is a different discussion. I would love to see Pooh in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's going to get in there. I would love to see it. But we got to stop treating jersey retirements like this is a Hall of Fame induction. And we also got to stop acting like the Bulls are just this severe, like a lot of great players. But this is not the Lakers. This is not the Celtics. You got to have a higher accomplishment to be in there. Like, I honestly don't think Kevin Garnett should be in the Boston Celtics Raptors. If you want to be real, that's a different discussion. Derrick should be in there. If you want to be real, there's probably only 8 great players. Who? I don't think Kevin Garnett should have a jersey retired as a Celtic.
I thought you said Kevin McHale. Like,
no, definitely Kevin.
I agree with you with the Kevin Garnett joint.
Kevin Garnett shouldn't have his jersey up in the Celtic Raptors. But those are storied franchises with multiple eras. The Bulls ain't that. The Bulls have maybe had 8 great players in the history of their franchise. So I hope that the Bulls do something right and give him his day and put that number one in the jersey. It's kind of unofficially retired anyway. We've seen 2 or 3 players try to wear one, and the fan base was just not going for it. So I hope Jerry Reinsdorf, hope Michael Reinsdorf, and I hope Arturas Karnisovas do the right thing. And I'm not saying it has to be this year, but within the next 2 to 3 years, bring him back and get that number 1 jersey retired. Bang, I know we talked about this a little bit on Summer Sessions last night, but just tell me what you feel about his career, and the chances are that he will get his jersey retired.
Okay. Orlando Artis Gilmore is a Hall of Famer. Just let you know. So I'm not old enough to ever see a Artis Gilmore game, my nigga. So don't even say shit. But that nigga is like was one of like the greatest centers of all time at one point. But nah, I'm you know what, low key, I'm not a fan of jersey retirements. I'm not a fan of that.
I want to hear this tape. Why are you not a fan?
Because of the Boston Celtics. Like, damn near every jersey is retired. So you got niggas coming in with weird ass numbers. Like, don't nobody want to see no game with a nigga playing basketball with the number 49 because you retired all these goddamn numbers. I am a fan of Ring of Honors. Like, I'm a Ring of Honor guy. Like how Dallas got their Ring of Honor and how like
that's
Denver
what the Bears need to have.
I'm a fan of Ring of Honors because jerseys to me, all right, man, it's more than the jersey. It's the player in it. That's why I like Ring of Honors. If you wanna just keep a nigga from wearing 23, of course, like 23 should be retired across the league. Like if you do
it should be retired across sports.
That it should be like that. That is the only jersey like that one, and like 32 is like some jerseys by certain people should just not be worn, right? But after that, though, I'm a Ring of Honor guy. I believe that should be it. Plus, there should be like a Hall of Fame wing in your stadium that has all of that memorabilia and all of that stuff. So that's why I am not a fan of jersey retirements. I'm a fan of Ring of Honors. And I also believe you could do that a lot quicker, too. So while if you retire this jersey, I wouldn't be tripping because, yeah, let's retire that man's jersey since y'all do retire jerseys. But Derrick Rose definitely is a member of the Bulls Ring of Honor. I guess that's the shit that they tried to do last year and it didn't go off well.
The Bulls do have a Ring of Honor.
Yeah, because that's the shit that they tried to do last year and it didn't go off quite well. But yeah, it go off well.
Nobody showed up.
Right, but Derrick Rose gonna show up. He gonna show up for the crib, and that's how you honor that man. Bulls Ring of Honor. But if you retire his jersey, I'm cool too. I'm cool with that too.
Dante, you are a South Sider like me. What I've learned over the last 24 hours is a lot of West Side niggas don't have memories of Derrick Rose.
I don't have a Derrick Rose. Yeah, I don't have a Derrick Rose personal memory.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know. That just tells you if you're not from Chicago, the differences between the sides. Tell me, your memories of Derrick Rose, and do you think his jersey should be retired?
Well, it's crazy because I went to high school. I went to Thornwood, which is in the South Burbs, probably 10, 15 minutes outside of the city. But when you go in further games, but we went to UIC. Because Thornwood, we had a game to go downstate. And after we played, we won. And we was walking out, and the Simeon game was starting, G. And this nigga caught a oop. So crazy. Like, we stopped and watched, like, the first half from the catwalk because all of the seats was full. That was one. I saw him in Chicago State. So this was somebody that we would, and our team was good because I think Thornwood went downstate like either 2 out of my 4 years or 3 out of my 4 years. But we were like, yeah, we cool with y'all niggas, but we trying to see bro play. So we would go to different games, different tournaments throughout the city, just seeing them play. And then, so that's really where the connection came from. And then the fact he was drafted by the Bulls. Because, Memphis is right down the road. We saw the Final Four run. We knew everything he would do. We watched him with Mean Streets. Yes, Eddie Curry went there. Cliff Floyd went there. We got a few guys that went to the league. But going to these different games, G, and then seeing him come back to the city and do what he did with the Bulls, bro, it was next level. It was something that we all wanted, and we all have really been down on the Bulls, since Mike had left. We had, salute the captain, shout out to Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon. We had a couple guys that we rock with, but overall that team, those teams weren't doing much. So when he came in and added that spark and started to carry that team, and then even with the, why can't I win the MVP? And then going out and actually doing it, it was special. It was a special time to be in Chicago. It gave you a lot of pride in where you were from. And it was just tough because all of the rehabs, he didn't he never. Everybody talks about his prime was short. To me, he never had one because he was really still ascending when he got hurt, and all of those surgeries and rehabs, he wasn't able to add to his game. But like, had he been able to do that, the sky was the limit. And you talking about a guy who we saw him. I forgot which podcast he was on, but he talked about how he was modeling himself after Kobe, where he was like, "Yeah, I'm not partying, I'm not going out. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to work." So imagine if instead of those rehabs, he's able to maximize his work ethic and continue to pour into himself. What he would have been able to do. So for him to still last 16 years, I think it goes without saying he's our Grant Hill, he's our Penny Hardaway, but being from Chicago is always going to be a different feel to it. So, it was even though he hasn't been, a truly impactful player for a minute, when the announcement hit, I was like, damn, gee, like it's really over. It was one of those people that you always going to root for him. And, I think saying he a legend in the city really don't do it justice, like especially the South Side. Like everybody love D Rose. Only people that don't love D Rose is transplants and the racist white folks. That's it.
And Joe Cowley.
Yeah, Joe Cowley.
There definitely needs to be a statue of Derrick Rose in Inglewood.
Oh, 100%.
And he's 100% getting his jersey retired. Let's cut the shit. He's 100%.
Okay.
Like he's getting his jersey retired. That goes without question. And he will make the Hall of Fame. There's never been an MVP to not make the Hall of Fame. He's gonna make the Hall of Fame.
I hope so. I would love nothing more for GD to be in the Hall of Fame. That would be amazing for the South.
Hey, G, before we switch, you shout out to his books, y'all. The funniest explanation ever. That picture when he was throwing up the forks. Bro was like, we was in Memphis, so I was throwing up the M's to let them know I was happy to be there. Gee, I was fucking crying. Like you tried it, bro. I feel
that is
funny as hell.
That is G. We would love to see. That probably is a GD in the Hall of Fame. We gotta do our research.
It's definitely
but
a GD in the Hall of Fame.
Mo Cheeks one of the most.
I think Mo Cheeks is a stone or something like that, bro. He might be. We gotta do.
He go back to El Rukin days. He
You're
might
right.
have been an El Rukin.
Yeah, he old.
Yeah, that's
Kevin
my
Garnett, the
grandma
Vice Lord. Kevin Garnett was saying Lord and shouting out all the travelers and shit.
Yeah, that nigga shout out the travelers. On his Hall of Fame. You said him and Zebo greatest GDs of all time.
Yeah, Zebo. Yeah. Nigga, that Zebo MTV Cribs episode, legendary.
When he had the picture of Larry Hoover?
Yes, it got the 6-point star on the pool table and on the floor. Nigga.
Yeah, man.
David Stern called him immediately, nigga.
What is this?
I just say this and then we'll move on to the final topic of the local hour is Derrick, I think, too, is somebody, if you know about the history of the South Side, you know the history of Simeon, what also makes the story great is that he did what everybody hoped Benji would do. Benji's life got cut short, and he wasn't able to do that. Benji got killed 4 years before I was born, but I knew about those stories early, bro. Like, that was just everybody, like, even him wearing 25, that's the honor at Simeon. Everybody wears Benji's number, you know what I'm saying? And so that's also why I think what he did was so incredible, man. So much love, respect to Derrick Rose. When he gets his jersey retired, I will be at the United Center. I will break my Bulls spending money on the Bulls boycott. Come see folks' number getting in the rafters. So one last topic, we're gonna bring the homie Tosin in about 5 minutes, man. I just want to talk about this situation that happened last night. Chicago Sky fired first-year head coach, WNBA legend Teresa Weatherspoon, after finishing 16-27, missed the WNBA playoffs her first year as a head coach. Now, when she got hired about 11 months ago, this was something a lot of people didn't know if it was going to work or not because of her very small coaching experience going on. I originally tweeted last night that I felt, how the Angel found out the same way that I did, but I was informed very quickly that was not the case. Angel and the team didn't know about the firing the night before, and if you go to Angel's Twitter, you'll actually see she has some subtweets about it. But it doesn't change the very long tweet that she had last night saying that she was heartbroken about it, and the only woman that believed in her and things like that. Obviously, there was some playoff expectations because they made the playoffs the last 5 years. Didn't happen this year. There was a lot of injury concern. Of course, obviously, Angel missed the last couple weeks of the season with that wrist injury. Once they traded Marina Mabrey to I think it was it Connecticut that she got traded to.
Yeah, Connecticut.
She just made a big shot in the playoffs the other night. They went 3-13 after trading her, and there was so many different rotations they used. And of course, obviously, all the on the field, off the court stuff that happened that kind of felt like this just was kind of set up for her to fail. And from what I heard, there were some players who voiced concerns in the players' exit meetings, and maybe that was part of the reason why they let go of her. But for me, this is just a like a head scratching decision to me, because I don't know what you expect a coach to do in year one. Like, I feel like somebody with this roster that you have, with the young talent that you have, the lack of draft picks that you have, that you should at least play this out. And I don't think this is a good look when you got your franchise player voicing opinions about this, whether even though she knew about it the night before. Obviously, she wasn't consulted in the decision. That's very obvious. Even though she's a rookie, I do feel like there should have been a conversation if you're going to go this way. And, there's not a lot of teams in the WNBA, and there's a lot of free agents who don't want to come to Chicago, which you see in other teams in the Chicago. Well, we forget that Chicago is such a big market that nobody wants to play there. I think that's a bad look for the organization. It kind of feels like they don't have a plan. And we've seen this with almost every other team in the city. And now you're seeing it with the team that had a lot of promise, with these young stars, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardozo. And I just feel like they're going in the same place that a lot of Chicago sports teams going to. Dante, I'm going to go to you. You're more well-versed in WNBA than I am. What was your reaction to this? And do you think that this is a bad, omen for this franchise?
It definitely caught me off guard. I know, when we did, I had a few WNBA segments, I said, when it was first starting off, like sometimes it looked like she'd be tweaking out there. But I think as the season progressed, you saw she was really trying to see which one of her young players, had what it takes to crack that rotation. And she's really trying to build toward the future, because this is a very young team. They tore it down after the championship. But it's disheartening, because not only was the firing unexpected, but you've seen other players now, year after year after year. Somebody tweeted out a list, and like, people don't realize it, but the Chicago Sky have had like some of the best WNBA players leave their team, go to other teams, and win championships. They had Sylvia Fowles, they had Elaine Deladon, they had even with Kalia Copper, she wanted out. Like, she asked to be traded. Like, so like, people wanted to leave.
Dana Evans asked for a trade too.
Yeah, and Dana Evans was somebody who showed a lot of improvement last year. So when you see these players who, are uncomfortable there, it makes you wonder. Even with Gabby Williams, they did Gabby Williams dirty at first. And so, Angel tweeted her after the Olympics, like, come play for the Sky. And she was like, nah, I'm good. So
I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, it's setting a bad precedent. So the Angel thing is interesting, because, she's somebody that we've seen. She really needs that moral support. And there was a lot of press conferences where you saw Weatherspoon picking her up, whether it was just putting a hand on the shoulder, telling us, all right, same with Cardoso. But they also said, everybody wasn't too happy. So if you have players there, I wonder who said something, because that'll let you know how important that player is. I highly doubt it, but it would be hilarious if Angel made a comment that, kind of led them in this direction, and then she puts this statement out. But with everything we've seen, I think more than anything, the Chicago Sky need to figure out the direction they want to go in and go that way. It's been too much turnover, too many new coaches. I know, like you said, 5 straight playoff appearances before this season. He left for a better opportunity, but I'm sure there could have been some type of incentive, something to keep rotating, to keep building, because a lot of what they were doing were based off things he had put in motion. So it's going to be interesting, bro, because, like, with Angel, she definitely.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
And she was not happy. She see what goes with that. I believe she's a free agent as well.
For those of you who are listening to the podcast version, they were talking about Trinity Carter.
Yeah, Trinity Carter. But it's going to be interesting, bro. Because you saw, the relationship between Spoon and Reese. So we'll see how this goes.
Bang, take us on this topic.
Yeah, I don't typically have too big of takes on WNBA, because I'm not a heavy WNBA watcher. But on this one, I'm confused. A basketball Hall of Famer with the pedigree of Teresa Weatherspoon and it was so much pomp and circumstances after her hiring to get rid of her for after 1 year. I wanted to know. I want to know what was said in them exit meetings. It had to been very bad to make a decision like this. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You alienate and however this went down, you alienate your best player or your most notable player, too. So the question that I have is, how do you replace Spoon? And what I mean by that is, with so much pomp and circumstance that you gave, who are you going to replace her with? Whoever they replace her with is going to have to really come with some structure and pull this team together. This team has went to the playoffs for the last couple of years. They have won a WNBA championship. They have talent in the middle. They definitely need a point guard there. But Spoon, I think, was very influential on certain players on that team. Some of them are free agents, and they probably ain't coming back. So it seems like they're going deep in rebuilding, but I believe they have 2 picks in the first round of the draft next year. One high and then one, I think, around like 9 to 10 or something. So they have to go. It looks like they're going to go very young. And with them going young, you have to bring in an energetic coach that's going to bring out the most in those players. So that's what I got.
Definitely gonna be a story we pay attention to over this offseason, man, as when the WNBA playoffs wrap up. We'll see what the next move is, man. We're gonna take a quick 1-minute break. We'll be right back for hour 2. We got the homie Tosin, friend of the program, also a host of the Shirtless Plantain Show. We'll be joining us as we're gonna do a full week 4 preview, man. We'll be right back in a minute. I'm not gonna hold you.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna hold you. Hour 2. Big shout out to everybody watching us on Instagram. We appreciate y'all as well, man. We're gonna bring in the homie Tosin, man, joining us for hour 2 here on the show. Tosin, how you feeling, my boy?
Really, really good. Thank y'all for having me once again, man. Hope everyone's doing well.
Man, we doing as well as we can. I think both of our teams right now are on the brink of hoping we can turn this around. Well, what's your feeling with your Ravens right now, dog?
Listen, I'm pissed that we let Mike McDonald go. I knew it was stupid when we let him go. I was like, we should have let John go upstairs like Brad Stevens did and just kept Mike, but it is what it is.
Any feeling going into this Sunday night game? Big Sunday night game. Josh Allen coming to town. Day 3-0. A lot of people, me, will be really paying attention to this game. Y'all know I'm a Josh Allen guy. What's your feeling going into this? We'll make predictions later. What's your feeling about this Sunday night game?
I'm calm, man. We wearing all black in Baltimore. If y'all don't show up, that's on y'all. We wearing all black in the city. So I'm just excited to see Derrick Henry run it in somebody's face. That's all I want to see. So I'm not nervous. I'm calm as hell. So it's just, they know what they got to do. And you can see Lamar's locked in. I'm not sure if y'all saw.
I saw that IG story.
With Marlon. Yeah. Marlon looked like he was scared. So Lamar's locked in. Derrick's locked in. So it's really up to the boys. So, yeah.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to that game, man. It was much better. It'd be much better than last night's game. I've got to take on Thursday Night Football real quick before we get into the actual score of Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football is bad every week, no matter what the actual matchup is. I think on paper, next week's matchup isn't bad. It's a nice NFC South matchup, but somehow it's going to be a bad game because NFL players are not meant to play twice in a 4-day span. That just is what it is.
Yeah,
go ahead, my bad.
A lot of it is really whoever didn't get their ass beat the worst the Sunday before is gonna have a good game that Thursday. Like, we really got to check the trends on that. But like you said, that's a crazy turnaround.
It's a crazy turnaround. My bad. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, I don't think people understand how like just insane NFL is like to play, right? Like from week, I remember what's his name that played for the Dolphins? Jason Taylor. And
Yeah.
like Jason Taylor was saying how like at some point in his career he couldn't get up the stairs. And I'm like, yo, these dudes can't get up the stairs on Sunday and you want them to play on Thursday? That's obscene. That's just
It's nuts because too, one thing I know from being in the Bears facility, I see these niggas schedule. They got the schedule up in the hallway when we walk to the locker rooms. And a lot of people think they just go to practice, go home. No. These niggas be at the facility from like 6 a.m. to like 5, bro. Monday, you get an off day. You're looking at Monday, you're looking at film, stuff like that. Tuesday's an off day. Wednesday's the first day of practice. And that's for a regular week. So imagine what that schedule is like on a short week. So by default, you're gonna get a crappy game. But the thing about me, I saw somebody ask me, why do you still watch? I'm like, because football is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still kind of good. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna watch. Last night I watched every minute of that terrible Cowboys Giants game. Terrible. We can sit up here and complain about it. It's making money. Last night was the highest streamed game in NFL regular season history. And that's all the bottom line is. That's all Amazon cares about. That's all Roger Goodell cares about. That's going to continue to be terrible football. And people need to actually thank that competition law that doesn't allow the NFL to consistently be on Fridays and Saturdays, because they will 100% go for that as well. But don't want to spend too much time on this game. There's two terrible teams. But the Cowboys won last night 20-15. Not an impressive win. A very Chicago Bears week 1 win. Dak Prescott, 22 for 27, 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones is terrible. 29 for 40, 281 yards, 1 pick. The only really saving grace for the Giants was Malik Nabers is looking like a guy. 12 receptions, 115 yards. Didn't get a touchdown, but he did get concussed. Said he was fine. The Cowboys didn't leave this game unscathed. Micah Parsons, high ankle sprain. He's going to be out at least 2 to 4 weeks. And DeMarcus Lawrence got injured as well. And Mike McCarthy saying that injury is actually worse than Micah Parsons. They play Pittsburgh next week. I think they're going to get scraped. I think it's going to be a bad year for them. But just what do y'all think about this NFC East right now? Because if you look at it, it's kind of a weird division where the Cowboys are playing kind of like I think anybody with eyes thought they're going to play. Daniel Jones is arguably one of the worst quarterback in football. You got the Commanders. They started off pretty well. Philly's winning, but they don't look impressive as well. I think we're on a path for another NFC least type of season where the winner might be a 9-game winner. Tosin, what do you think about what you saw last night, just this division as a whole?
So I actually didn't watch the whole game. I actually was out yesterday. I came home and watched some of the highlights. I was like, I'm so glad I had something else to do because that was horrible. I mean, first of all, I'm not watching Daniel Jones on purpose unless and you know what's the crazy thing about Daniel Jones? Lamar's 20-1 against the NFC. He only lost to Daniel Jones and the Giants.
And that's crazy.
Yeah. So they're just a bad team. That's really it. And the NFC East they've been unserious for like the last 10 years, the whole entire division. Like, I don't even know how they continually just do this, but it is a hilarious division. The only saving grace is that Jaden Daniels is really good. And so is, the Eagles. Eventually you'll get it together, but that's terrible. All 4 of them teams they got something bad. Each one of them do.
Yeah. Just a quick thing. Shout out to Kobe in the chat. This nigga gave us a super chat. $1.99. Shout out to you. He said, thank you for Fields and JPJ. Hey, you're welcome, nigga. You're welcome.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that 4th round pick, brother.
Yeah, right. Thank you for the 4th round pick that's coming. Thank you for our
We appreciate you.
Donation. We appreciate you, brother. Let's give a round of applause for Kobe real quick.
Donations.
Dante, man, what you think about this terrible NFC East?
Yeah, it's bad. We kind of expected, even with Saquon, I wasn't sold on Philly. There's too much dysfunction. When the quarterback and head coach don't like each other or not on the same page, I don't care how much talent you have. It's a little difficult to do that. So that surprised me. I told you how I felt about the Cowboys. I picked Dak to be MVP for some dumbass reason, but I really thought the Cowboys would be playing better. The defense, we knew they couldn't stop the run, but they in coverage, they've been bad. They've been really bad, even though they won the game yesterday. But like you said, Malik Nabers had a great game, and especially in that first quarter, it felt like everybody on the Giants was open. But a win is a win. But like you said, I think this is one of those years that this division is definitely gonna have a 9-win team, maybe 10, maybe a 10-17, depending on how. I haven't checked the rest of their schedules, but I know they do have to play each other, so that's always a benefit because a lot of times they end up just splitting games amongst themselves. So I think definitely 9 or 10 wins is the way it's looking right now, especially the way these injuries are piling up. And it's not just these teams across the league. Motherfuckers are getting hurt left and right, and it's really crazy.
Yeah,
so
terrible.
I was glad, we saw him leave on the cart. So I was glad it was only, a high ankle sprain for Micah. You don't want to see anybody get hurt, but especially, the people that are bringing the odds, the people we coming to see. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, this division is bad. And that game, the Giants are fucked. Like, they really are. Like, I know they don't have that much guaranteed money left, but even when you have to go get a quarterback, you're kind of fucked because like it's no guarantee you're gonna get your guy. It's no guarantee you're gonna go out there just because you got Davo, just because you got a couple weapons. Like, you still got to get a competent quarterback. And as we've seen across the league, you got motherfuckers talking about banning 2 high safeties. Like, competent quarterback play is hard to come by.
Definitely, man. Bang, what you think about this division?
That division is terrible. That's why I said that the Washington Commanders has a chance to, be a team on the rise this year, even with a rookie quarterback. As far as last night's game go, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I put my latest unlucky parlay up where I hit on everything but a Malik Neighbors touchdown.
You probably thought that was gonna be the sure thing.
Oh, thank you. I thought that was going to be the sure thing, fam. But, yeah, watching that game, I know Thursday night games be huff, but I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm like, yo, with the talent that y'all got, even though it's a in-division rival, you should be beating the shit out of this team. Yeah. And they didn't. And I saw people on national TV saying that Brian Daboll's job is in jeopardy. And I'm like, it shouldn't be. I really trust Brian Daboll to, if he had a quarterback, that quarterback would be hella decent. No, hey, I'll take Brian Daboll over here.
Yeah, quickly. Please fire him.
Fire him.
Please.
I fire him.
I will pick that nigga up from LaGuardia, nigga. I will drive to New York just to pick him up.
So, hey, you can do that if you want to. But, yeah, it's looking like that there's going to only be one team that makes it to the playoffs in this division. So you look at other divisions and say, hey, which team could reap the benefits of or what division would reap the benefit of having an extra team go to the playoffs?
North? You know what's messed up for the Giants, too? Like, I know Orlando said they want Arch, but I heard that the Mannings want that nigga to play all 4 years. So it's probably going to be a while if you get Arch, number one. Number two, Shedeur is out there. But if you think Deion Sanders is going to let his son play for that trash organization, you got another thing coming.
I think he wouldn't mind the Giants.
Hold on. But the Giants don't take no black quarterbacks, man. What are we doing?
That's what I was going to say. You finished what I was going to say. I don't think they would mind that.
Carson Beck on the way?
Yeah, Carson Beck on the way, Jack.
On the way. Brian Daboll looks like a New York firefighter. I've seen this man outside before.
And he lost weight.
He did lose weight. I didn't know if he lost weight or it was the beard, because the beard is a fat nigga cheat code. And I'm kind of mad that I can't really grow one. A beard is a fat nigga cheat code, because you think about it, bro, the double chin get lost, bro. Like, think about how Ross would look without the beard. It'd be a different conversation. You know what I'm saying?
We saw it already.
Yeah,
like, just go watch that Trina video.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. With the big old Celtic jersey he had on. Yep. Like, I didn't know if it was the beard. I was like, no way. Shout out to Brian Daboll. But he does look like a firefighter. He does look like he'll say, well, black lives don't only matter. Like, he feel like he be on that kind of time too. So, and I don't know if I've been to MetLife Stadium. Gives me real Sopranos. What did Tony call Meadows' boyfriend? Charcoal Briquette, like one of them real racist vibes over there.
Hasidic homeboy.
Yeah, I got real. Your kind don't need to be over here type vibes when I was in Jersey and MetLife, man. But let's go to the Week 4 headlines, man. We just kind of talked about Josh Allen a little bit, man. But Josh Allen having a MVP type of year early. I know it's only Week 3. Week 4 now, but he through first 3 games, they're undefeated. He's spreading the ball around a lot more. Looks like the offense is a lot more fluid without Stephon Diggs out there. He finally has a little bit of a running game. He has thrown for 634 yards, 7 touchdowns, and surprisingly no interceptions. And he has a QB rating of 133.7. I don't know if I want to say this is MVP right now, because I do want to see him play tougher teams. I mean, he's only played the Jaguars. They're trash. He played the Dolphins. They're trash, even when Tua was there. And they played the Cardinals, who are kind of like a middle-of-the-road team to me. So they haven't played anybody that of merit. I think this Sunday is a big game for both teams. I think Baltimore, obviously, you don't want to go 1-3. But if you're Josh Allen, you go in there, win on the road in Baltimore, and you go to 4-0, Josh Allen has a great game, then I think it's a real good discussion. But I think that a lot of people, especially some of my co-hosts on this show, were ready to throw Josh Allen into the water already. And I think this man right now is looking like the best quarterback in football. Pat has not had the start that we wanted him to have, obviously, and I'm not worried about him. If there's anybody who deserves a slow start, it's Patrick Mahomes. But he's looking real comfortable, and he has a very much control of the offense. There's no really any favorites wide receiver-wise. He's spreading the ball around, and the defense looks a lot better. I think if he continues on this, and if they're able to win that division, which I think they got a great chance of. I'm not fully sold on the Jets yet. The Patriots are trash and the Dolphins are trash. I think we got to change the way a lot of people talk about Josh Allen. Tosin, tell me what you've seen from these first 3 games of Josh Allen and what you think he can prove this season with, kind of like the least weapons he's had kind of since he's been in the league.
First of all, shout out to Joe Brady. We know what he did at LSU. So Joe Brady's, really, really good. But I've always liked Josh Allen, but I've always thought Lamar's better than him. And if you don't believe that, that's fine. But I think he's really, really good. I think that this season he's slowed down a bit and he's starting to read his progressions a lot more. And it helps that you got James Cook back there and his line is holding up. And everyone is, I think some Bills fans said it was just everyone now is getting the ball equally and no one has no egos. There's just it's a whole team thing. So that's the number one thing there is everyone is buying into the team and they're slowing it down. But Josh has always been good. I think that we've always laughed at him for his turnovers, but he's really, really slowed down and really just started to let the game come towards him instead of him just trying to force the whole situation. So he's looked good for the first 3 games. Remember that meme? The guy was just it's a little concerned me a little bit, but I packed that thing too.
I packed that thing too.
That's how I feel,
That thing too,
Yeah.
Dante, we know you're not one of the biggest Josh Allen fans, or unless I confuse. I ain't confused with Courtney. I know Courtney is on the Josh Allen hate train, but what do you think? What you saying from so far this year?
Yeah, I've called him, Caucasian Cam Newton, which is amongst other things. But no, I think Josh has done a really good job, and like you said, I think without no disrespect to Stephen Diggs, but you know how traditionally superstar wide receivers are known as divas. Give me the damn ball. Keyshawn Johnson made that saying popular for the young niggas who watch it. But they're now at a situation where, like you said, there's no egos. It's just Josh. He's running the offense and he's distributing the ball to whoever's open, and the team has responded accordingly. So I think obviously, especially with the extra game, MVP after 3 weeks, still too early for that. But yeah, right now, I think you really got to give Josh his props. And that was something I did say, as much as I knock him, this was the year where, if he can pull this off and, put this team on his back, then you got to give him that respect because he's definitely earned it. It's easy, in my opinion. That's why I feel like Joe Burrow gets so much praise. I'm not saying he's not nice, but it's easy playing with a loaded deck as opposed to sitting out there and you have to manipulate things and really will your team to victory. And that's something that we're seeing Josh Allen do. So, I'm not ready to say MVP, but he's definitely off to a great start.
What was that vine of that girl saying? I'm gonna stand beside him. That's how I feel about me and Joe Burrow right now. I'm gonna stand beside him. I was ready to fight Chris Canty when he tried to blame my boy for them losing on Monday. I was like, nigga, did you see the defense? But Bang, what you think about Josh Allen, man?
Man, he's the first quarter MVP. We are in the world of where we professionally overreact and we don't look at the whole season, or we're not patient. But since we're doing this, he's first quarter MVP. He's looked great, man. He He looks great enough for me to be like, okay, I know I put money on Joe Burrow winning MVP, but damn, I might lose that parlay too. But as Scott just said, I'm standing behind Joe Burrow, fam. But that team, especially with the way that they're set up, like you really don't know a wide receiver on that team. Like Keon Coleman and
you only know him because he funny.
Yeah, you know him because he's one of those dudes, as what we said on Summer Sessions, was in one classroom all day. That's Keon Coleman right there. and they got two good white tight ends. Like that's what you know.
Old school football.
It's old school football at its finest. You got a wide receiver and niggas. You got James Cook, who is hella decent, a strong offensive line, and two white tight ends that could start on any team, and the defense is playing very well too. We gonna see though. We gonna see what happens this weekend.
Sunday's gonna be a big game.
I'll go as far as saying this: if they win on Sunday, they to me are the favorites to win the AFC.
Hey man, this might, if there's any year that you can look Pat in the eye and get them, it might be this year. Because I think Travis Kelce's cooked. I said it last week. I think that nigga's cooked.
Yeah, he cooked.
This nigga's in a Peacock movie with Courtney B. Vance and Niecy Nash. I think the nigga's cooked, bro. So that would be that. Let's move on to a quarterback who is very highly touted, who stinks. Trevor Lawrence, aka Sunshine from Remember Titans. Trick off Trev. I'm gonna do even better one. Duval Daniel Jones, and I have a stat. I have stats for niggas.
Stats. I'm gonna go on mute. Let you rock with this.
Duval Daniel Jones. The reason we don't bring this up is because he plays in Jacksonville, number one, and people don't care about Jacksonville, Florida. Shout out to RIOP. Shout out my guys, Amp, and Mr. Jeff's everybody over there. We care about y'all. But outside of that, nobody cares about anything in Jacksonville, Florida. That's why he's not under radar. Also, I think we still think that Trevor Lawrence is what he was at Clemson. He's not. Let's be real. He won one playoff game because Justin Herbert was terrible at the end of that game because Brandon Staley is an idiot. It wasn't because he was great. The nigga threw 4 picks and then tried to even it out with the 4 touchdowns. But here are the stats for y'all. By the way, the Jaguars are 0-3. 0-3 right now. Doug Peterson looks like he's going to get fired again. But here's the stats. This is before last night's game. But I guess it doesn't really matter because Daniel Jones didn't throw a touchdown last night. But I'm going to add the interception. So these are the two comparisons between Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, 63% completion percentage. Daniel Jones, 64% completion percentage. Daniel Jones is throwing for 2,502 yards each season. Per season. Trevor Lawrence, 2,942 yards per season. Daniel Jones, 300 rushing yards per season. We got Trevor Lawrence, 254 yards per season. They both, Daniel Jones has a higher passer rating, career passer rating, 85. Trevor Lawrence is 84. 51.67 career QBR for Daniel Jones, 50.25 career QBR for Trevor Lawrence. 66 touchdowns thrown for Daniel Jones. 60 touchdowns thrown for Trevor Lawrence. 43 interceptions for Daniel Jones. 40 interceptions thrown for Trevor Lawrence. One is considered one of the worst quarterbacks ever. The other is considered a generational talent. If you look at those stats, my nigga, I don't see much difference. In fact, Daniel Jones has 6 more passing touchdowns.
Trick off Trev is ass.
Trick off Trev, Duval, Daniel Jones. My question for y'all, what's next for Jacksonville? Because you just gave Trevor Lawrence all this money. You're not going to move on from him. You wasted a year of his career with Urban Meyer. Then you bring in Doug Peterson, who got fired by the Eagles. He has done nothing really since he's been there. And you're looking at 0-4 in the eye. I'm going to go to Bang first because you gave him the trick off Trev name. What do you think the Jacksonville Jaguars go with?
I have not a goddamn clue. I saw somebody say that Bill Belichick and Tony Khan's dad have a great relationship, and they wouldn't be surprised to see him go to Jacksonville. I don't think Bill Belichick can save the Jacksonville Jaguars, my G. I don't know what's going on with Trickoff Trev. I don't know. You have to bring in an offensive-minded coach, a new offensive-minded coach. Maybe you bring in Bobby Slowick to be the head coach. Maybe you think that highly of Clint Kubiak. I don't know who you can bring in that can help him out. But right now, he's ass. And Trevor Lawrence is what makes me scared about Caleb Williams. Because the reason why people sit up here and say, oh, here y'all go with this generational talent shit, is Trevor fucking Lawrence. You've been touting this man since he was a freshman. You've been touting this man since he was a freshman. You said that he was next up as a freshman. You said that he was a generational talent as a freshman. You said as a freshman, he is a clear lock as the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. You know who else they said that about? They said that about Caleb Williams since his freshman year. That's why people look at that whole shit around when you talk about Caleb Williams and generational talent, because you got niggas like Trevor Lawrence who's stinking up the joint. Now, like we said earlier, is more coaches that messes it up for players than it is anybody else. So I really don't know and have a fucking clue of how you fix Trevor Lawrence. But right now, they better do it and do it fast, because they gave that man way too much money to be doing what he's doing right now.
Tosin, man, do you think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the highway to nowhere, or do you think there's any kind of hope here?
Ain't no damn hope for them, man. They really might need a seance or something, because I don't know what's going on. They have to all learn AEW, because it's bad down there, man. They all got to go to wrestling. I mean, I just knew this wasn't a serious team when they got a pool that everybody shares in their stadium. So
that's nasty.
What kind of Tampa Bay Rays stuff is that?
That's nasty.
It's disgusting. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I was looking at their roster, right? I was looking to see if there's anybody worth saving on that team. There's nobody worth saving. I mean, you look at like the players that they drafted, right? And it make like they are just a terribly run organization. And it goes for every sport, right? Like, I think the real issue is, in general, like if your team is ran poorly, it's going to just continually show. I forgot who they picked number 1. Yeah, when they picked Trayvon Walker first in 2022, I was like, oh yeah, this is not a serious franchise. Like picking Trayvon Walker first in 2022, that just shows you where they are, and they're going nowhere fast. And someone like Bobby Slowick doesn't need to go there and ruin his life. Just go somewhere else. So come to Baltimore. So replace John Harbaugh. So that's how I feel about that.
I mean, and like you bring up the Bill Belichick thing. I'm gonna say what I think my man Hawk on ESPN said this about Bill Belichick going to the Cowboys. It's even worse about this. Like, you'll be a king around idiots. Like, don't like I kind of feel like Bill Belichick honestly shouldn't go anywhere, because I feel like he's in the Phil Jackson territory where like it can only go down. That's like bringing Phil Jackson out of retirement to coach the Grizzlies. You won't deal with him dealing with John Morant. Like, no, he gonna force John Morant to read Zen books. Like, no, nobody wants to see that. Like, Bill, stay on the Manning cast. Stay on Inside the NFL with Ocho and all them niggas.
Fuck that record.
Yeah, don't ruin. I know you want the record. I know you want to be who Don Shula, I think, has a record. Like, you just leave it alone, dog. You got Don Shula beat in rings, and you're still here on Earth. You won, so like you're fine.
Scott, I got something to add to that. I was having this like I had this thought last week about John Harbaugh, right? Like, and this goes to like coaching all sports and just in everything in life. At some point, you're the young coach, right? You're the young and up and coming coach. The next thing you know, 18 years later, you're the second oldest coach in the whole entire league. And it happens, right? It just is what it is. Like, now you're looking at the Matt LaFleurs of the world, the younger dudes, right? And that's just life. With Bill Belichick, you have nothing to prove to nobody. You don't want to be coaching these YNs. You don't want to be coaching these dudes who are going on TikTok after their games or during
niggas playing Mad Rod Wave in the locker room.
Yo, you don't want to be around these dudes doing and playing NBA Youngboy. That's not for you.
You're just like, doing this and shit.
Yeah, like, yo, this is not your generation. You did what you had to do. You need somebody younger to coach these younger dudes. And that's just how I feel about Bill Belichick coming back to coach. You are a media guy now. Go be the next John Madden and leave us alone.
Exactly. Dante, man, take us home on this Jaguars topic.
Yeah, I mean, marketing is a motherfucker. Like they've told us, Trevor Lawrence was that guy since QB1 on Netflix. So I mean, I think this is a byproduct of that. You know, the fact that youth sports has become a business and kids are coming up and able to create these profiles. And if you have talent to match with their profile, then you get situations like this where Trevor Lawrence definitely has the talent, but I mean, he's been given the benefit of the doubt so far and it hasn't panned out. I think, dating back to last season, he's lost like 8 starts in a row or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a situation where because, especially, I've lived in the South since 2007 and bro, it's really football Jesus down here. Like when I tell you, you meet people from Lawrenceville who talk about Trevor Lawrence, they've dismissed Deshaun Watson, but it was usually 1 and 1A. Those were the two they would talk about, even with Justin being from Kennesaw. Those were the guys that they were like, no, Georgia's producing some of the best quarterbacks in the league. And so to see the turn is taken for Trevor. If you're Jacksonville, you already invested in him. So you really have to find a coach that you think can fix him. Like it's that simple. You have to find a offensive minded coach. Doug Peterson wasn't that guy. You saw how it ended in Philly. So I don't know why you thought it would be different, but we've seen the cons, despite their enormous wealth, they don't make the best decisions. We've seen that, whether it be wrestling or the football team. So it's one of those things where now who do they go pick up? I agree, Bill ain't the guy. But it has to be somebody, with an offensive pedigree that can help Trevor Lawrence get the most out of his talent. Because the talent is there. I'm not going to deny that. But so far, it's just been more so advertisement and not what he's actually been putting out on the field.
Yeah, and you said like he's football Jesus out there. They do love him, and I think that's mainly because he's a white boy. You know what I'm saying? It's just really what it comes down to, man. Let's go to a team that I already know Tosin's take on this. The Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals right now are 0-3. We had a topic last week. Who is more in trouble being 0-2, the Ravens or the Bengals? Most people took the Ravens be more in trouble, but the Bengals lost the game. They should have won. I don't say should have won, but again, they had no business losing to the Commanders on Monday Night Football. And now, man, they're 0-3. They've got a gimme game. I won't say a gimme game, but a game they should win on the road in Carolina. We got Andy Dalton, who looked anything not like Andy Dalton last week. They got to win that, and then they got to go at home to face the Ravens again. My question for everybody here, and I already know Tosin's answer, but I'm going to go to him first. Are the Bengals done?
I mean, let me say this. Whenever Lamar Jackson's healthy, they ain't done shit, okay? And there's only 2 teams in the AFC North has won Super Bowls, and it ain't the Bengals, and it's not the Browns. It's the Steelers and the Ravens. So all I'm saying is that they've had Chad Johnson. They've had a whole bunch of different players, and they ain't done shit. So I'm not scared of them. Never have been. Never will be. Don't care about them. So Joe Burrow is really nice, though. Jamar Chase is nice, but they don't scare me. They do dumb stuff, too. Like, why would you draft Daxon Hill in, like, the first round? Just doing dumb stuff like that. So, I'm not scared of them. And Andy Dalton beating the Bengals would be hilarious for me because that is AFC North heritage right there. So I would love for him to go down, go and beat the Bengals. That would make me very happy.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm standing beside Joe Burrow. My reasoning for thinking that they are done has nothing to do with Joe Burrow. I think that defense stinks. I think we saw signs of it in training camp when I saw the Bears 1 and 2 teams mow them niggas down in the joint practices. And I thought maybe it's just a bad day for the defense, but it looks like that's just who they are. I think they're going to beat Carolina, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than they need to be. But when you have a bad defense, you're basically needing Burrow and Jamar and T. Higgins to be perfect. And they don't really have that much of a run game with Joe Mixon going. So I think that, I don't know if they're done, but they pulling up the dumb boulevard. Dante, what you think about the Bengals' chances going forward?
I don't know how Joe Burrow's wrist is, bro. Like, we've seen him, talk about keeping the ligaments warm, keeping them, loose or whatever. So I think it all just depends on Joe Burrow. And with that being said, I think this year, again, 3 games in is way too early to say a team is done. But it's not looking good for them. Jamar Chase looks checked out more and more each week as the time goes past. You saw the video that went viral of them coming out of the locker room. People are running out. Do you see Jamar just kind of walking like, all right, I'm going to show up for work. I'm here. So I think they really got to get that situation under wraps and get him back bought in, and that could change things. But right now, I think the Bengals just not looking good for them in this division.
Bang, I know you standing beside Joe Burrow as well, man. What you think about the team?
Oh man, I'm not worried, but I'm looking at them funny in the light. They got to trade T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. One of them got to go. And they got to go this year. Like, they got to go before the trading deadline. You got to go ahead and bite the bullet and trade one of them. And quite honestly, the way this season going, maybe both of their ass. They need pieces. That defense is terrible. And you're now in a division where the weakest team in the division looks like they're one of the strongest. I am worried about Joe Burrow's health. That risk, I don't know. I mean, it's never really been a situation like this in the NFL. And I picked him to win the MVP. And I picked the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl. So I still think they have a chance. They haven't really got too deep in the division yet. We'll see that. But it's definitely a cause of concern, and I think they need to shake up things a bit and trade Jamar Chase or T. Higgins before the trading deadline.
Yeah, I think that definitely T. Higgins. I would keep Jamar, but I definitely understand the reasoning, man. One last topic before we move on to our picks for the week. No weekend bets because Mikey's sick, so for you gamblers, you're going to have to fend for yourself this week. We'll be back next week for that. But Jaden Daniels, I think we'd be remiss if we don't talk about Jaden Daniels and the performance he put up on Monday Night Football. Performance that got the computers putin', had everybody just wilding, calling him the next CJ Stroud, and the Bears picked the wrong quarterback. You went 21-23, 2 touchdowns. His first deep ball of the season, by the way, but it's neither here nor there. The question I have is he up next? This is what I said about Jaden Daniels. And by the way, I have reposted the reel that I reposted a couple months ago where I actually predicted the Commanders to be a fake decent team this year. If everybody out there was calling me a Jaden Daniels hater, I said in the offseason I thought he was going to be decent, and I thought this team was going to be at least fake sneaky this year. I think that he can be good. I'm not fully sold on him being up next. I think if you look at the first 2 games of the season that he had, they were, kind of game managerish. And even in this one, he didn't throw the ball that much. Like, only threw the ball 23 times. And everybody keeps saying, oh, they didn't punt. Like, yeah, but they also, this was their first offensive touchdown that they scored in the air this week. So everything they killed the Bears about was kind of the same thing here. So I don't know if I'm ready to say he's up next, but I do think he's got a great start to the season. I do think that Cliff Kingsbury knows how to use him and kind of make the game easier for him. I think this last game was the first time they kind of took the handcuffs off that we didn't see in weeks 1 and week 2. So I do think it's a good start, but I got to see a lot more. He's still a very skinny dude, very skinny frame. I think the more defense is going to want to see how he's going to react if you hit the nigga more. So I think that's something we got to see as well. I just feel like a lot of people have been doing a little bit too much, but that's also what happens when you dominate on a primetime game because everybody's watching. The world is watching, so those kind of reactions are going to happen. I think he's good. I think he'll have a decent season, but I'm not ready to jump off the building and say he's up next. Tosin, what did you see from his debut this week, and what do you think his trajectory can be to be a very good quarterback?
I mean, the kid is nice. I mean, he's a good quarterback. It's like you said, it's the Commanders. So something is going to go wrong because that's just the way that franchise is. But he looks good. I'm glad he ended up finding Terry because Scary Terry was getting open. And I was like, is he going to find him? And he did. So he has confidence. The only thing I'm scared for him is like that boy needs to learn how to slide and avoid hits. I know they said a lot about
yes,
Lamar.
He cannot slide.
Yeah, I know they said about Lamar knows how to get out the way. And that's one thing he needs to learn how to do is like, boy, you keep taking all these big ass hits. That's not it. Please learn how to slide. So the kid can throw, the kid can, he could do things. So I'm excited to see when the Ravens play him too, because I want to see him against like tougher defenses, but the kid's got it. So it's just more so, can they build around him? Can they build a better line for him? Can they, keep him protected and things like that? I
won't be on DC for this game. It's my birthday weekend. I'm I love DC, but I don't want to work on my birthday weekend, so I will not be at that game. But week 8, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. There's gonna be some overreactions coming out of that game either way. Bane, what did you feel about what you saw from Jaden Daniels and his potential?
I'm happy I saw what I saw for the Commanders. DC's been looking for a quarterback since
Doug Williams.
I
I was about to say Doug Williams, nigga.
I was gonna say RG3, but then his leg went the wrong way. But they've been looking for somebody. I mean, if you want to keep it a buck, I mean, Mark Ripken won a Super Bowl with this team, and Doug Williams did too, and Joe Theismann did too. So maybe he's that person that's going to carry them. I think I feel good more for the division, right? When you look at the quarterbacks in that division, you got Dak Prescott, of course, and he's now the highest paid player in NFL history. You got Daniel Jones. That's not going nowhere. And then you got Jalen Hurts. So you have 3 of the 4 quarterbacks in that division that as long as all of them stay healthy, they're going to battle each other for years. And the NFL East is like the premier division in the NFL, right? That's the division that everybody talked about. I mean, even though we're from the black and blue North division, everybody loved what they get out of the NFC East, all of the rivalries and stuff. So I like it from that standpoint. As long as he stays healthy, he slides, and he continues to grow, they got something for the next couple of years. So I'm excited for him.
Dante, man, close us out. What you think about Jaden? You on mute, dog? He's
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't know what that nigga said. I don't know what's going on with his mic. All right. Earth to Dante. Is there something on your side? I don't know what he's saying. Put it in the private chat. We're gonna move on to the next topic. We're gonna do the picks for the week. Our rapid picks for the week. I want to start off. We gave our picks for the Bears game, but Tosin, I want to get your pick for the Bears game and what you think about what you've seen from the Bears. They're gonna be at home against the Los Angeles Rams this week.
I think the Bears are gonna win. The Rams are just they're bad right now, man. They're hurt all over the place, and I think that the Bears should be able to close that one out. So is what's it called back? I forgot the y'all receiver who's out.
Keenan Allen? Yeah, he's back.
He's back. Yeah, I think y'all should be good. Y'all should be good.
What do you think about what you've seen from Caleb? Like from an outsider perspective,
Caleb is gonna be fine. I think that there's just a lot of pressure because he's number 1 pick, obviously. But y'all got to get your offensive line right. That's the number 1 thing. Y'all got to get that boy killed. Please fix that line. And this is coming from somebody who has a terrible offensive line too. So Please go get that boy protected. So yeah, that's the only thing I gotta say is that the kid's gonna be fine. He has a lot of potential. Painting nails or not, I know people still talk about that. Kid gonna be all right. So it's just protect that kid. Please do.
He would definitely be all right. That nigga just bought a $13 million house on Lake Michigan. That shit looks splendid. I didn't even know that niggas had big mansions like that in Lake Forest. I tell you how much I don't know about Lake Forest. Like, obviously, there's a lot of rich niggas out there. That house looked like Logan Roy house. But our first game, Jets Broncos. This one will be in New York. We got Dante. He's back. He's got his audio fixed. There we go.
Fuck Google Chrome, bro. Like my shit just scrolled. I was getting the little spinning rainbow circle. I couldn't get out of there, bro.
Yeah, man. But Jets Broncos. The Broncos got a win last week, but this team is not good. And like I said, I do not like Sean Payton. I will forever root against Sean Payton. I just think the Jets are starting to get a little bit more steam. This will be, of course, they had like a revenge game for Nathaniel Hackett last year, but now he's got his boy back with him. So I know Aaron's gonna want to run up points up on this defense. I think the Jets are gonna win this game. We'll go this way. We'll go Tosin, Bane, and Dante. We're going that order.
I'm gonna do a slight flex. I met Alan Lazard yesterday, so I'm gonna have the Jets win. I gave him dap and told him good luck. So he gonna win. They gonna win. And he gonna get a touchdown. So
next time you see him, tell him "fuck you" on behalf of Scott Lewis. Thank you. Yeah, I have no
Same.
love for Allen Lazard.
I have no love for that man either. But take the over. The Jets is gonna beat the Broncos' ass.
Yeah, I got Jets by 10.
Just by 10. This game is gonna be a good one. North on North crime. Packers and Vikings in Lambeau Field. It looks like Jordan Love will be making his return. He did practice today. He's listed as questionable, but all signs are pointing to him making his return after getting injured in Brazil in week 1. The Vikings are 3-0. Sam Darnold's looking like a new man, but I really want to see them against the floor. What's that going to look like? What blitzes do Brian Flores have dialed up for, even though he's going to play? He's not 100% Jordan Love. I hate picking this team. I despise picking this team, but this Matt LaFleur is a god. I'm sorry. Like that nigga know how to call plays. No, I've never seen anybody get wide receivers open like he does. And I think the Vikings have had a good start, but I don't fully believe in them yet. I think Packers win this one.
The Vikings have always been liars. Y'all know that.
Yes.
The Vikings always lie. Every single year they lie. And like you said, Matt LaFleur is that guy. And it's absurd. His play calling is absurd. And I just think they're going to beat their ass. So there's that.
Brian Flores. I got to go with him. I think that when you have an offensive mind like Kevin O'Connell, but a defensive mind, and Brian Flores, who said that the challenge that he had as a defensive coordinator was to dissect that Sean McVay and Kyle, like those offenses that Kevin O'Connell runs. When I heard that made me go, okay, Brian Flores is different because that's all he's been doing. So if Jordan Love is coming off of an injury of his MCL, he's going to be worried about a whole bunch of blitzing. He's going to have to prove it. And I don't think this is going to be the game. I got the Vikings winning by 7.
Vikings by 30. I think it's going to be 24-21 Vikings. Again, I think Sam Darnold shows y'all that he is no fluke. And I think it keeps going for Minnesota.
I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think Brian Flores gets a job next year? Like a head coaching job?
No.
Niggas don't get multiple chances. Yeah.
Unfortunately, no.
He going to be a lifetime coordinator.
You're not going to sue me and get a promotion, nigga. Like, enjoy that coordinator squad.
Yeah, he need to be lucky he's still in the league. So, no, I don't
think
think
go to the USFL, nigga. Get a head coaching job.
If he was white, for sure. I don't know. John Gruden out here doing YouTube videos, so maybe not.
Right.
No, maybe not. But this next game is a massive rivalry game as well. I think outside of NFC East, this is the biggest blood feud on NFL Twitter. That is the Falcons and New Orleans Saints. The Falcons lost a game that they probably should have won against the Kansas City Chiefs, where Dante was truly enjoying his night in Mercedes-Benz Stadium last week. And they will be playing their division rival, New Orleans Saints, coming off a loss against Philly. Oh, man, I think this is a game that's going to go down to the wire. It still should be in Mercedes-Benz. I don't know what the weather thing is looking like out there, Dante. It's still be at the Benz, okay. I'm going to go with the Falcons. I do think the Saints are going to start to come down to earth. I think the Eagles game was the beginning of that. I think the Falcons just got to get out their own way. I think that was the biggest issue last week against the Chiefs, and I think they're going to get it done. I'm going to go Falcons by at least a field goal.
I'm going to go with the Saints. I cannot for the life of me believe in the Falcons quarterback. I can't believe in Kirk Cousins, man. I can't. You can't fool me. And I'm going to go with the Saints.
So you rolling with election year Derek Carr?
Nah, man, I'm rolling with Alvin Kamara.
Okay. Election year Derek Carr be putting up numbers. We broke it down on the show last year. Election year Derek Carr might get it done.
I got the Falcons by 4.
4 is random. That's 4. Random. 4 is random, nigga.
Yeah.
Where'd you get 4 from?
24-20?
28-24.
Okay.
I will be in the Benz again this Sunday. And I got the Falcons, bro. I'm not going to lie. I think especially with Olave, that hamstring injury, I know they haven't said he's not going to play, but still, you don't play around with hamstrings. So I don't think he'll be 100% in there. And that defense is solid, bro. They got some really good DBs on that squad. The D line has not gotten home. You know, I think they dead last in sacks right now, so that's an issue. But I still think they'll do enough to get it done. Like you said, I think the Saints are gonna come back to reality.
Buccaneers, Eagles, Bucks got blown out last week. Eagles barely won against the Saints. I do not like this Eagles team. I do not like Nick Sirianni, aka Cheesesteak, Matt Nagy. I don't like him. I don't have a problem with Jalen Hurts. I have a problem with the perception of Jalen Hurts. I think that the Eagles are trying hard to prove this to the world that they're not a bad team, but I think they are a bad team. I'm going with my man, the Bake Show. I'm going with Baker Mayfield. I think that Bunny Colvin will call a good game defensively. I think he'll call a good game defensively against the Eagles. And I'm gonna go with the Bucks. They're gonna get a dub at the crib.
You're a sick man for calling Bunny Colvin, by the way. Absolute sicko. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucks too. Like you said, I think Jalen is good. I think the perception of Jalen is not good.
Yeah.
And when I was watching that team against the Falcons, I was like, yo, this is not a good team. And like you always say, Jalen was out there throwing BLTs, man.
All day, bro.
It's not a good thing. Not good at all.
Hey, man, I got to go with the Eagles on this one. I think they're going to turn it around. I think we're putting way too much blame on Cheesesteak Mac Nagy, man. But they're going to win this game.
You know, it's a crazy world when Baker Mayfield is one of the most consistent quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Panthers Bengals, man. We kind of just a little bit talked about this game. This isn't Carolina. I do think the Bengals going to win. I don't think it's going to be by a lot. I think they're going to win by a field goal, and I think that Andy Dalton is going to look good again because, like I said, this defense stinks. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they lose. That's just what I feel about this Bengals defense right now. But I'm going to take the Bengals in a very close win by 3 points.
I'm a nasty hater, and I'll never believe in the Bengals. Andy Dalton, please shine, and Xavier Legette, please get open and do something. So that's where I'm at with it.
I told y'all last week the Panthers was going to win. The Bengals have lost 2 games that they should have won, including the first game of the year against the New England Patriots. And that's why I'm picking the Panthers. Yeah, Andy Dalton revenge tour continues because the Carolina Panthers are going to go ahead and take this one home.
This is the Red Rifle revenge game. I think Andy Dalton gets it done. You know, he's probably the third greatest quarterback in Bengals history outside of Carson Palmer, and who's the other old white dude?
Oh, Boomer Sauce.
Boomer Sauce.
Yeah.
Who's the old white dude?
So, you know, I think it's one of those things where he's going to have a really good game. Like we said, with Bryce, he just looked lost out there. And one thing we know about Andy, him being a vet, he can run the offense, and that's what he's going to be able to do. And this defense is trash. So I got Carolina getting the dub.
Yo, what did Dwight Howard say about when nigga got hurt? Lord, put your hands around him. What was it? Lord, carry him now.
Lord, carry him now.
That's how I feel about Bryce Young. He got his job taken by Andy Dalton and his girl taken by Tyrese Maxey. It is not.
Yeah, niggas are so petty. G Cam did a whole breakdown.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like,
Cam was bogus for that, bro.
Just let it rock, G. Come on, man.
Yo, he's legit. He's legit 5'8" in the pocket, bro. He's
bro. He looked like a third grader walking around. And I am part of the untall delegation. But look, man, he looked like my little cousin out there. Like, hey, man, I feel bad for Bryce.
Representation matters for the short kings out there.
Representation matters. This next game, man, Texans, Jaguars. CJ and the boys got really destroyed by the Vikings last week. And Duval, Daniel Jones, they're going to be on for. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think they're going to wax these boys, be back at the crib in that hot stadium over there in Houston. I think it's going to be a nice get-right game for them. The Jaguars are going to be looking at that number 1 pick, man. That's how I really feel about them.
I mean, sometimes you just need a pick-me-up game. The Ravens did that against the Cowboys. Sometimes you just need something to pick you up, you know? And these Jaguars are terrible. Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs going to eat on Sunday. And God bless. That's all I have to say about it.
And they better hope Joe Mixon don't play because it's going to be even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, let's get right, man. I'm picking Houston.
Houston by 14.
I got Houston by 21, nigga. I think it's gonna get ugly early. This is gonna be one of them games where we gonna be like, this nigga stinks. Man, big game, another big game in Indianapolis. Colts Steelers. But I said last week, I like Lucas Oil Stadium. I like it. It's a nice little modest stadium. I really love how the media parking lot is right in front of the stadium. Saves me a walk, so I appreciate that. The Steelers right now are trying to be 4-0. The offense still kind of below. Pretty bad. Let's just keep it real. The offense stinks. I know. Bears fans want to act like these niggas is the 2007 Patriots, but the offense still stinks. And this defense is great, but they're also going against, in my opinion, the worst quarterback in football, which is Anthony Richardson. I'm going with the Steelers, and I think Steelers going 4-0.
Yeah, I don't like the Steelers either, but Anthony Richardson, man, he can throw, but not that well.
Other team.
Yeah, yeah. So Steelers, they're gonna have fun. The DB's gonna have a lot of fun. So Steelers gonna win that one.
You better hope JJ Watt let him live. Like, he might not even have time to throw the ball.
Yeah, y'all already know I'm picking the Steelers on this one. Anthony Richardson is ass.
Yeah, I think the Steelers continue to Arthur Smith continues to give Justin Fields more release to do more, and I think they beat the Colts by 17. I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. This next game going to be actually kind of sneaky good game, man. You got the Cardinals at home against the Commandos. Two teams that, kind of middle in the road a little bit. Two teams that have quarterbacks who I feel kind of play a little bit the same. I'm going to go with the Cardinals in a very close game. I think that Marvin Harrison is really starting to show y'all who he is, who we all knew he's going to be. I think that this team defensively is a little better than the Commanders' defense is right now, and I just trust Kyler Murray a whole lot more than I trust Jaden Daniels at this particular point in his career. Wouldn't shock me if the Commanders win, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals in this one.
I would say I'm going to go with the Cardinals, but I just feel like there's going to be something so funny about Cliff Kingsbury going back to Arizona. He's going to get
I forgot about that story.
Yeah, so if they do win, it would be funny to see Cliff Kingsbury get a sneaky win. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the Commanders just slightly edging it out.
Fam, you got a back scratcher?
Yeah, man, you got to get you one of these, dog. This back scratchers.
Man, we call that nigga old? That's crazy. I ain't seen one of them in a minute.
I ain't seen one of them motherfuckers in a minute, goddammit. Hey, man.
Back scratchers. Go ahead.
Hey, man, Cliff Kingsbury revenge game. I got the Commanders.
I got the Commanders.
Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. That's just a hilarious. I ain't seen anybody play that song yet. Yeah, it's about time to play. Run that song back, bro. We talk about a get right game. This should be a get right game for the Niners. I say should, because the Niners shouldn't have lost that game last week. We heard from, I think it was Michael Lombardi said today that they're gonna start testing out Chris McCaffrey on Monday. I still think that niggas cook, but I'll go to Niners. I'll go Niners by 10 over the Patriots this week.
The only good thing I say about the Patriots is that Jacoby Brissett stays with a job. So happy for a black man to keep getting paid. But other than that, there's some shit. I've seen them, that team play. They can't do anything offensively. So, yeah, the Niners should get right.
Niners better win this motherfucking game.
I got San Fran by 14.
Yeah, they better. If they lose to the Patriots, niggas, like, we got to have some conversations if they lose to the Patriots. This next game was another game that this team better win. I think I saw you tweet this, bang. Raiders and Browns in Vegas. Devontae Adams will not be playing. I think he has a hamstring injury. He will be out. We got Gardner Minshew, who got benched last week for Aiden O'Connell, but he will be starting. If the Browns can't win this game, my nigga, you're going to see another 27 accusers come out next week. Now, there's going to be a new tape that's going to drop. They're going to really get Freaky Sean out here. They lose these niggas. I'm going to take the Browns, but I'm not all that confident. We're not shocked if they lose, but I'm going to take the Browns by like 5. I know it's a random number, but it's going to be an ugly field goal type of game. I'm going to go with the Browns in this one.
The Raiders are without 5 starters. They're missing 6 players. So Max Crosby's out, Malcolm Kuntz, Thea Mumford, Devine Delbo, Devontae Adams, and Michael Myers out. So if the Browns don't win, yeah. Come get your boy, FBI. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Look, man, the fact that that Antonio said that it was some people that made some business decisions, and 2 star players is out. Looks funny in the light, and that's why the Raiders is gonna win this game. Go ahead and call FBI, G. Yeah, you gonna get some motivated players on that Raiders side because of what they coach said last week. I would not be surprised if the Raiders win this game. That's why I'm picking the Raiders.
Both these teams are terrible.
That nigga didn't have the words.
I'm gonna go with Cleveland. I mean, I'm like you, Scott. I don't want to pick them, but I think Cleveland to get it done just because they have so many players out. If you lose this game, like y'all are fucked.
Definitely, man. Chargers, Chiefs. Now the Chargers have some injury concerns. Justin Herbert is questionable with that ankle sprain. He did play last week. Didn't look too great. I know that Joey Bosa didn't practice. I think Khalil Mack didn't practice as well. But honestly, even if they was healthy, I'm still picking the Chiefs in this
one. So Joey Bosa's out and Rashawn Slater's out. Junior Colson might be out as well. Justin Herbert might be out. Also, Greg Roman runs their offense, and I've seen Greg Roman in person. Like that's somebody who I've seen spiritually for way too long. They're basically the Ravens West. That's what they are. They're not gonna win. So that's
all hail to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Chiefs. And
Dante Miles.
If there's any Kansas City fan in Los Angeles looking for a seat inside of the beautiful SoFi Stadium, let me know. You know I got you. But no, I'm gonna go Chiefs by 10. The Chargers. I mean, I see what Harbaugh is trying to build, but they're missing some pieces, and Herbert's not 100%, so I got the Chiefs.
Next game, Sunday Night Football. This is the game of the week to me, man. M&T Bank Stadium. I feel like the energy's in Baltimore feeling good, man. I just saw a picture on the pit, nigga. You got all the nigga Slim Charles back in town, nigga. You got I saw Weebay, a couple of them niggas. I don't know what they got coming out, but big game on Sunday Night Football. You be going against the 3-0 Buffalo Bills. I am going to pick the Bills. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I think both quarterbacks are going to show out, but I trust the Bills play calling a little bit more. I trust Joe Brady a little bit more right now than I trust the Ravens play calling. So I'm going to go with the Bills, and I think they move to 4-0. Tosin, I know you got the Ravens, but how you got the game going?
First and foremost, I would never pick against my team. I don't even care. I don't care if we're playing against. I don't care if we're playing against Jesus, Allah, and Buddha. We never gonna lose. So we wearing all black in Baltimore, like I said. If we lose this game, then heads gonna roll. But I think it's gonna be a tight game. Our defense needs to wake up. Roquan has been not Roquan this season. He's looking like a little heavy. We look like been eating too much catfish. So I got the Ravens winning. We just have to figure it out. But we'll get our shit going. By the way, Mark Ingram is one of our legends of the game before. So you know how Mark Ingram is. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I gotta go with the Buffalo Bills, man. Hey, Caucasian Cam Newton is gonna go ahead and take it home, man.
I'm going with the Ravens, man. I'm going with Lamar. I think Lamar gets it done at the crib, like in the blackout. The atmosphere is gonna be crazy. A lot of times when those wire niggas pop up in Baltimore, they come to the Ravens game. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see them there on Sunday. But I think it's gonna be a really, really dope game. I agree. This is probably the game. This is the game of the week. I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Carmelo Anthony definitely is gonna be there.
Yeah, well, Carmelo picks and chooses when he want to be from Baltimore, when he wants.
He always from Baltimore and
Brooklyn. That's why I said he from Baltimore, but that nigga be when he be in the North, Brooklyn. Nah, nigga. Melo claiming Brooklyn is like Kanye claiming Atlanta. You only there for a couple years, my nigga. Let's relax. We got another. We gonna wrap it up with these two. It's another Monday Night Football doubleheader. This first one, I will not be watching. Dolphins Titans. I don't care who's gonna win. But I'm going to go with the Titans because I have no idea who's starting for the Dolphins. So I'm going to go with that. In the second Monday Night Football game in Detroit, Lions Seahawks, I think it's going to be a really, really good game, but I'm going with Detroit. Unfortunately, I picked Detroit to come out the NFC and go to Super Bowl. I don't believe in Seattle yet. I think it's a little hot start, and we won't be talking about these niggas in like a month. I'm going with Detroit.
So apparently the Dolphins going to start Tyler Huntley, and as somebody who's seen him up close and personal, I'm going with the Titans. That nigga is not good.
You talking about Pro Bowler?
Hey, listen, I'm talking about when he was doing fake decent. Everybody's like, "Oh, maybe y'all shouldn't play Lamar. Y'all should just
that was
Huntley."
crazy.
I was like, go to hell, go to hell. Seahawks, I got them winning because I believe in Mike McDonald. So,
okay.
I ain't the only one that's picking the Seahawks. I'm picking the Seahawks. Hey, I thought I was gonna be alone here, but I'm picking the Seahawks over the Lions. And I got the Dolphins over the Titans, man. No matter what, Will Levis is ass. And he's so ass that I don't think he's gonna finish this game.
Oh, you think we see who's my man from Pittsburgh?
We see Mason Rudolph, Jack.
Mason Rudolph? Okay.
Yep.
Mason
He's
Rudolph.
a bum. I gotta go. Obviously, Titans. I'm gonna go Titans in that game. The Dolphins. That's a crazy situation at the end. I think, like I said, they need to call the Panthers and go get Bryce Young. But I think the Dolphins are gonna take the L on that first game. In the second game, I got Detroit, bro. Like, with a little bit of hate, Detroit is going 13-4, bro. Like,
Detroit's having a great sports time, right? You see the Tigers?
Yeah, they fighting for their playoff. Did they clinch a spot yet?
No, they clinched yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, I have one thing before I forgot to say about the Ravens game. Yeah. This is gonna be so fucked up, but I have to say it. I really want to see Derrick Henry against DeMar Hamlin, and that's all I gotta say. I just gotta see it. Derrick Henry.
Let's see if you can stay alive with this hit, nigga.
Derrick Henry, all black against DeMar Hamlin. I gotta see that. I'm so sorry. Like
you gonna be on the sideline like Smokey. Shoot him.
You came back to life for this. I want to see this. I gotta see this. I'm sorry, I had to say that. I was holding that back so much. I had to let it out. I'm sorry.
You said it before Dante was gonna say it.
You know, I let bro live. No pun intended. I'm done with it.
Oh, to God, nigga.
God let him live too.
Oh man. That's all we got for week 4, man. Tosin, thank you for joining us as always, bro.
Of course, man.
You're gonna be writing something. You getting your pen game on, man. Tell the people what you got coming.
So apparently they let niggas from Baltimore write. That's not to hit. They're not Coates. You know, did they also let other Baltimore niggas write? So I have a book coming out with a couple of other writers. It's called "Are We Allowed to Dream?" Basically, we talked about soccer players and like black soccer players in a light that's not really shown about how they're like sort of superheroes. So that book's out, available for pre-order. It's called "Are We Allowed to Dream?" So very excited for everybody to read that. It's a project I've kept near and dear to my heart for like the last year, but it's finally coming out. So very excited for everybody to see that.
Definitely, man. Stay in tune with Tosin, man. If you're also a big soccer/football fan, follow his show, the Shirtless Plantain Show. I'll be making my Tottenham debut in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to going there. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward to being on the field too. I saw what the press box seats look like. They got us to the 50. I'm finna enjoy that win or loss. That's gonna be a time.
That's one of the best.
They have a brewery. They have a brewery inside the stadium, so they don't run out of beer. Like, so that was another reason I didn't remember where I was until halftime.
We gonna be toe up. I'm just 4 days. Like I said on Summer Sessions, I'm gonna be like the uncle who pull out the phone every 2 seconds he walking. I'm gonna be one picture video taking nigga in 2 weeks.
Oh, they snatch phones in London though, so be careful, my nigga.
Yeah, I know that's what Pappy said the same thing.
Yeah, Scott, you're gonna enjoy it. That's one of the best stadiums, like apparently in the world. I still think Mercedes is the best stadium I've been to in my life.
I love Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
I love Mercedes.
No.
So far, it's number 1 on my list. But
wait, so have you been to Tottenham yet?
No, I have not been to Tottenham. I would never go to Tottenham because I have deep beef with that team. But no, go ahead.
Okay. No, it's an amazing stadium. Like it is. It's like it's fan friendly. The catwalks are spacious. It's drink stations literally fucking everywhere you turn. You can get a beer. You can get some food. It's hella exits in and out. Like, and they got, because you know, if for people who are not soccer fans, like soccer teams are big on their history, and they have the Tottenham Museum next door with all the trophies in it. Like that shit is like A1. And it's
And
dope
they
because it's sitting right in the neighborhood.
and they got no trophies. So
Yeah, right. So I can only imagine what like Man United, Man City, or going over to Spain and seeing what they got over there. Like,
I'll say this much:
I'll
don't go to
produce
Man
the
United
kill.
Stadium.
Our producer Nikhil just said I'm with Tosin. You can never catch me there. So
No.
yeah, y'all got soccer reasons. But Tosin, man, always good to holler at you, bro, man. We'll holler at you next time.
All right, man. Y'all be easy. Take care, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
yes, sir.
We gonna spend the next 15 minutes, last 15 minutes of the show with a little bit of TV review, sports TV review. Nick, what you laughing at? Nigga, am I missing a joke?
No, because I'm trying to edit in my mind what I was gonna say about this Aaron Hernandez shit.
Oh.
But
Let's just get right to it. Before we get to the Mr. McMahon doc, I just want to talk about my beef with the Aaron Hernandez show. So if you haven't checked it out, there's a new show on Hulu, FX, Disney Plus. Aaron Hernandez, it's American Sports Story, which is a limited series based on Aaron Hernandez. Obviously, this is like the third, really actually the fourth, series that FX has done on a big event. Like they did one on the OJ like 8 years ago, which I thought was phenomenal. The casting was great. Cuba Gooding did a great job. My man Ross from Friends did a good job with Robert Kardashian. John Travolta was great. Everybody on that. Theo, my man Michael Jamal, one who was in the great cast. The one they did on Monica Lewinsky. They had Carmela Soprano. She played a really good Hillary Clinton. That was great. Clip was terrible. We talked about Clip on this show, and the Aaron Hernandez show looks more Clip than it does OJ. And this is my beef. Okay. In the 4 episodes that I've watched, or 3 episodes, on 3 episodes that's been out. If I was gay, I would have a problem with the way they're portraying this. Because to me, it kind of looks like they're saying, oh, Aaron Hernandez liked dicks. That made him a serial killer. I think that's crazy. I think that they're trying to give him an out to show what made him that way. And I don't think the fact that it was because he was gay. I think he was a sicko. That's why he was a serial killer and killed multiple people. At first, I thought that was just a 2-episode type thing. And the 3rd episode, that's what the whole thing was about. It was called Pray the Gay Away. That was the name of the episode where he went to church with Tebow. And, he's having this. And I feel like they're spending way too much time on that. And they're trying to make it sympathetic to the fact that, oh, well, he was abused and he was gay. And of course he's going to go out and kill people. I think that's just wildly irresponsible. I think that the casting is terrible. They just grabbed whatever white nigga on the corner to play Urban Meyer. I don't know who they took. Who's the skinny dude playing Cam Newton? Like they're like, hey,
that's hilarious.
You were Craft Services. Come play Cam Newton. And like they took the dude who does the lights on the Fox lot and like you gonna play Tim Tebow. It's terrible. They got I think 4 or 5 episodes left. I'm gonna continue to watch the whole thing. Maybe it gets better, but I just don't like what I've seen so far. Dante, what you think about what you've seen so far from this show?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and really, like you said, back to the whole him being gay thing. One thing I don't like is when we comment on people's private lives after they dead. It's the same thing people did with Whitney Houston. They do it with Luther Vandross. It's like if they're not here to speak on that subject, I don't think it's really fair to even bring it up, true or false. And with this, like you said, the show has just been outrageous, like from the jump. And it's like, don't frame all of the nut shit he did around the fact that he had to suppress who he was for the sake of this macho sport he was playing. So like the way it's been set up, and people who've watched Cinema with the Guys, shit, we did a full season of Euphoria, so it's not no homophobic shit we saying. Like we're just based on what we've seen. It's like, nah, bro, you could have kept this. So for them to go from OJ to the Monica Lewinsky to Clip to this, it's definitely going downhill.
Definitely. Man, you got anything?
I agree with everything that y'all said, man. It just feels like it feels like they're trying to humanize him, but disrespect his potential sexuality and others as well. It just seems nasty, and not very well done. So this was tough.
All right, final topic. Then we gonna get up out of here for the weekend, man. Mr. McMahon, Vincent Kennedy, man. The Netflix documentary called Mr. McMahon just dropped. 6-part docuseries. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I was a major major WWF, and I'm gonna say WWF, nigga, WWF fan growing up. And by the way, I love how on the subtitles it would say WWE when somebody was saying WWF. Like that was funny to me. But I was a massive fan from like 97 to about 2004. 2004 came, and you know, I succumbed to the nigga, you lame, you watching wrestling thing, and also because Stone Cold and The Rock left, so that was also a reason I left. But I thought the documentary was amazing, and when it originally got announced with the trailer, I didn't know if it would be not telling the truth because Vince was on it. But then when I saw that Vince was trying to get it not to air, I was like, oh yeah, we getting some good stuff coming. And what I loved about it, it was a great balance, because I feel sometimes when it comes to people who've gotten in trouble with the law because of dastardly things they've done, I feel like sometimes we ignore the things they did in their field. And I kind of feel like that's unfair. I think you can have a conversation, say, oh, Diddy's a sicko and Diddy should be under the jail, without giving him respect for his contributions to just the hip hop genre. I think that's unfair. And I think they did a good job of giving Vince his love of what he did to make wrestling what it is today. But I also feel like, let you know, don't get it messed up. He's a sicko and he needs to be in jail. And I love how they put, this is filmed before this time. This film this time. They had everybody on there. And I think that there wasn't a lot of stories that I didn't know about, because being such a wrestling head, I knew about a lot of the in the ring stuff. I knew about the steroid scandal. I knew about, you know, Hulk Hogan looking him in the eye and testifying, but not telling the fans what they wanted. I knew about all that. But, you know, the sexual assault and things like that, the ring boys, I didn't know that. But I felt like it was a really healthy balance. And it also kind of showed that Vince McMahon, in his head, thinks he's not this guy that he really is. The two things that stood out to me was, it's a couple things that stood out to me. One, when they asked everybody what his legacy would be, and nobody really had an answer. His own children. I thought it was funny when Undertaker was like, yo, I'll take a bullet for that man. And then 2 minutes later, what's his legacy going to be? He's like, oh, I don't know, dog. Like, that was real telling to me. His own children. Yeah, that was real telling to me, not having a legacy. And I had a couple problems with The Rock. The Rock's my favorite wrestler ever, but The Rock, when he went up there and said, you know, Mr. This is not he doesn't see color, and to be a champion of color. Rock, just say you black, bro. That's probably my biggest beef with The Rock. Like, I'm not saying, like, when you're mixed, obviously you got to show love to both sides. But I feel like he showed way more love to the Samoan side than he does his black side, and that kind of annoys me. And to not even say black champion kind of annoyed me a little bit. But that was something. And also when they asked everybody what's the difference between Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon, and Vince is like, oh, there's no comparison. Everybody's like, oh, it's kind of that nigga. That was some stuff that stood out to me. But I enjoyed it. I think anybody, even if you're not a wrestling fan or have any history watching wrestling, you should check it out. I thought that Netflix hasn't been doing too good with their docs lately, but this one blew it out the park. Bang, I'm really interested in your opinion on this. Obviously, you're a bigger wrestling fan than both of us. You had the first black champ. What did you think from seeing this documentary?
So we're definitely going to dive into this a bit more on this Sunday. So check it out here. But Vince McMahon is a complicated person and a complicated character, complicated personality, right? Vince McMahon is probably the greatest promoter in the history of the world. Like he's past any boxing promoter, he's past Don King and all those folks, but he's also past P.T. Barnum. Vince McMahon took a platform like wrestling, which is just carny, and made it into $1 billion industry. Every person that's in wrestling right now owes Vince McMahon a thank you. The problem with that is that unless you're Jesus Christ, when everybody owes you a thank you, probably gonna corrupt the nigga. And I think that's what really happened. Like, I don't believe there's a billionaire in the world that's clean. I just don't. You have money and you have access, and because of that money and access, something ain't gonna go right. So when I looked at this documentary, it was a lot of stuff that I knew. I did not know about the Ring Boy scandal. Shouts out to Jonathan Hood for putting me on game with that. But Vince McMahon rather did what was best for business instead of what was best for his family in a lot of cases. The relationship with him and Shane I thought was interesting because it was similar to the relationship with him and his father. Issues with Vince McMahon and his mom was wild, and some of the crazy things between Vince and his daughter. But everybody else just talked about how, as far as like Vince outside of the building, was a great guy. So it's very complicated. But when you start to learn about some of the things that Vince McMahon was accused of by the young lady Janelle Grant, you can't look past it. You can't look past it at all. And when you start to put two and two together with some of the things that happened in the 80s, lady that sued him for rape, something like that, and you find out that he gave her a multi-million-dollar settlement, the whole thing about Jimmy Superfly Snuka and stuff, you can watch the Dark Side of the Ring for that bit of more information. Like it's just very complicated. I'm very thankful to watch what I've grown to love. I grew up as more of a NWA WCW fan, but I'm not gonna act like Macho Man wasn't a member of the WWE fan. Like Macho Man's my favorite wrestler, but I'm not gonna act like I wasn't up at early to make sure that I watched Superstars on Fox at 11. But it's just nasty. It's just real complicated. And when you look at a lot of the CEOs and the billionaires that's been getting in trouble, they've all given us enjoyment, pause. Like Diddy has given us so much music from the 90s on, and look what's going on with him. And Vince McMahon, same thing. Just wrestling is a love of mine. And it just shows you how even nasty the wrestling business was at a point in time. So it's wild, but a great documentary.
So definitely get into it on First Black Champ. They'll do a more in-depth review on that. Before we go to Dante, you know what's funny? Unless you've been to Hollywood Boulevard, you don't know this. Vince McMahon and Diddy stars are right next to each other.
Get the fuck out of here.
A lot of people don't know that. Vince McMahon's star is right next to Diddy's star. And I know that because my first trip to LA, before I even moved there, I was like, oh, it's Diddy's star. And Vince is right next to him. Right in front of the Chinese theater, I think it is. Like, yeah. That's the funny part. Yeah. Right next to each other. But bring us on with this one, Dante.
Yeah, no, it was a great documentary. And I think kind of the Banks point about, a clean billionaire. I think with Vince McMahon, his fatal flaw was, outside of being a rapist, was the fact that he put business above all. Like, it didn't matter how uncomfortable. Once he realized, especially getting into the terminology of wrestling, and knowing what a heel is, knowing what a baby face is, knowing, how heat is not necessarily a bad thing, Vince was able to lean into that and always move the needle. He's always been someone who can get just provoke responses from people, and that's something that he was great at. And as he gained more and more power, he abused that power. And I think a lot of it was really telling and kind of creepy how he would say shit throughout, where it's like, sometimes you gotta cheat to win, but you just gotta win. Like, I win, so I don't care. Like, he was just so nonchalant with the fact that, yes, I abuse my power. Yes, I do all of these things. And I don't care how you feel about it, because it's gotten me this great success. And you have a lot of older white men in America who feel that way. And so, seeing that on display throughout the documentary was crazy. I'm more like Scott than JR in the sense that I was a big wrestling fan as a shorty. And then recently, because my homies still watch it, I picked it back up a little bit. But I've been really more so watching the documentaries and the Dark Side of the Rings. And when you compile all that information and realize how much bullshit has gone on under Vince McMahon's watch, but he's let it slide for the name of business, and nothing, kind of like how we say with the NFL, nothing's bigger than the shield. Yeah. Vince McMahon there's never been anything bigger than the business of wrestling. Like, that is his life. That is his everything, to the point where the storylines were insane with his family. Like Orlando, you mentioned they didn't mention Macho Man. I really think that gave me even more belief to the rumors about the Stephanie McMahon shit, and that's why they didn't mention it. They didn't mention Macho Man at all. So, like you said, to mention Chris Benoit, but you couldn't mention Macho Man, to show Owen Hart's blood still in the ring while you made them keep wrestling after he fell out of the rafters. Like, Vince was, and even his explanation of that was so fucking cold-blooded. He was like, he said, well, the lights were off. They didn't really see it. It's like, what? like the man's blood is in the ring. His friends like walking into the ring, like shocked watching this, and you like, nah, bro, the show got to go on. Like roll them past the wrestlers, like go, keep going, let's rock. So I mean, he was a cutthroat businessman, and unfortunately, that's something that's been praised in the capitalist society. And he's always been seen as the alpha male, even though he was sitting there loading himself up with steroids and all type of other shit. So I mean, his legacy, like you said, he falls into that same category of all the disgraced superstars we've seen from our past. The Cosbys, the what's the other white buddy who in jail? Weinstein, all of these people, Russell Simmons, all these people, like he falls into that category. Like, not to be corny, but like Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. And most of these dudes have abused that power. They haven't done the right thing. So it's fucked up, but that is who he is.
I'll say from a succession comparison, one thing I peeped out to me, Shane McMahon is definitely Roy, and Shiv is Stephanie, and Tom is Triple H.
100%. 100%. Like when you could hear the pain in his voice that he did not get the WWE, and I felt bad for Shane, bro. I really did, because I fuck with Shane McMahon.
Tony Atlas like Shane nice. You can't run a company when you nice.
Yep, and they was like, Shane nice, Stephanie is not nice. Like, and you could peep that with Stephanie, the way she talks and when she's doing interviews, and how she'll flip that switch real quick when they're talking about the business side, just like her daddy. She's like, no, there's nothing bigger than the business. Like when they asked her about those storylines involving her, she said, I know, but I'm not gonna tell you.
Triple H also had that look like, nigga, y'all have no idea what family I'm married into. Like, like Triple H like, nigga, there's so much I can say.
He married into the mob, bro. Triple H know where the body's at. He not gonna say shit. Him, Shawn Michaels. That's why all them dudes was like, I'll take a bullet for him. Like, I love him. John Cena, all them niggas, bro.
Damien said, quick talk about the episode of Ghost. I'll just say this. I am glad that's going off TV next week. Oh my God, nigga.
Hey, they missed a great opportunity to play No More Drama at the end of that.
Hey, they didn't play No More Drama when Monet lit up. I'd have been on the floor.
Bro.
I was like, why would he play No More Drama?
When Tariq said, I'm Tariq St. Patrick, I killed my daddy. I was like, all right, this too.
That was one of the worst monologues I heard in my damn life. I said, you niggas didn't even write a script. They just said, hey, Tariq, this is the scene. And we act out, go.
You know what I said when I saw that scene right there? I said, damn, it's over for his career, fam.
No, he's done. He do a movie.
He make beats though.
Now.
He make beats too.
That's he's gonna have to continue.
He's making beats and he's doing Hallmark movies with Chloe Bailey. It's a wrap, my nigga.
That's a wrap, my G.
Nigga, Ghost can't even find a job right now. When the last time you seen Amari Hartwood on TV?
That huff ass Netflix movie with Jennifer Lopez.
My point exactly. That's all we got for y'all today. I'm not gonna hold you. Shout out to Tosin for joining us. Shout out to everybody for watching. A lot of people in the chat. A lot of people watching on Instagram. We got our first super chat today. Shout out to Kobe. We'll be back on Monday. Big show on Monday. Hopefully, we're talking about a Bears win. I don't want to be yelling from the top of my lungs for an hour and a half in a local hour. So hopefully, we're talking about a Bears win. We're gonna be having baseball talk. This is where Dante, Courtney, and Mikey really shine. We're gonna preview.
Because that record about to break, man. It's at the bottom. It's at the top of the eighth.
Yeah,
I got it on TV now.
The White Sox about to make history as the worst team in Major League Baseball history. They're about to lose to the Detroit Tigers. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the Cubs, the playoffs, and we're gonna preview the wild card round. The playoffs begin on Tuesday, man. So y'all know to follow me on all social media platforms at BarChair Scott. Follow Dante at OctoberZone on Twitter. Follow JR Bang at JR Bang on all social media platforms. Follow our partners, HMB Media at HMB Media TV on Twitter and HMB Media on Instagram. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershop Network. If you watch this in front of a screen, man, you can take your phone up to the screen right now. It'll take you right to the QR code. If you subscribe to the $10 tier, you will get a 25% off discount on anything you purchase from the Barbershop Network shop. And you can visit that shop right now, bcnetshop.com. Get your I'm Not Gonna Hold You merch. Get your 79th and Halas merch. Get everything, man. We're going to be debuting the 10th anniversary 79th and Halas merch On Tuesday it'll be for sale, but we're gonna reveal it on the Sunday episode of the pod, man. So y'all enjoy y'all weekend, good football weekend, college and league, man. So we'll holler at y'all on Monday. We up out of here.